First on the play by Prevalent. Got his receiver downfield. That's Cornelius.
If he has good technique, he will be elite. If his technique becomes great, not just good, then he's a Hall of Famer.
Going down again. And it's Q. Ren Williams.
Fighting through contact, fighting through offensive line, being a double team, multiple moves stacked into one, just a play of pure domination. This is actual film, this is actual football talk. It's a football show, we're supposed to talk football, not storylines.
And welcome to another edition of Blewett Blitz Live. Kyle, me, you, and all the other like 4 people in here because we're not usually on Friday. So hopefully some people get on and recognize that we're on right now. But with that being said, what's up, man?
Yeah, hopefully, because Blewett feeds off the energy, guys. If you guys haven't already noticed, that's part of the reason why he was going for 4.5 hours that one time, because he's like, I felt bad. There was 100-something people still in there. How was I gonna leave? Yeah. All things considered, I'm doing all right, man. The Jets suck. Obviously, people are losing interest in the season. We've been getting less viewers and stuff, so that kind of sucks. But it's to be expected when the team's playing so badly. But other than all that crap, I'm doing all right in life.
Yep. Yeah. I saw John Hassel in here before. His comment disappeared, but hopefully he's in here. Eagles in here. Assassin in here. Assassin who just got up into 3rd place in the pick'em. Robert McNair, Friday treat. What's up, Robert? Clean shaven Blewett. Yep. So apparently he's either high or drunk because he can't spell right now, or he's just excited. But what's up, Assassin? Kyle, how was your Thanksgiving, by the way? Happy Thanksgiving to everybody, or happy post Thanksgiving where you're eating your secondary, your 3rd meals, your 4th meals of Thanksgiving. But how was your day yesterday, Kyle?
Thanksgiving's okay, man. I know that you're not a turkey fan. I'm really not a turkey fan either.
And because it sucks.
Yeah. And I know you were talking about like cold cuts is different. Like, yeah, turkey cold cuts can be good, but the way that turkey's traditionally cooked, and I've never had someone who's like really deep fried a turkey. I know a guy who like, when he cooks turkey, he'll like put bacon around the turkey to like get all the juice of the bacon to cook into the turkey and stuff. I've never had a turkey like that, but yeah, I'm with you that I think turkey is extremely overrated. I know it's like the main course and everything. And a lot of people look forward to it, but it's so dry and it's not that good.
I am glad we're on the same page. There's a reason. And this is why I say, like with turkey, one, the excuses are always like, I love turkey. And then people are like, oh, well, I want to eat it like once or twice a year. There's a reason you only eat turkey once or twice a year because it sucks. And then people are like, oh, well, you haven't deep fried it yet. And it's like, okay, I could deep fry a turd and it'll probably be somewhat good, or bacon wrap a turd.
You're pushing it now. You're pushing it now. And then people are like, oh, you just don't cook it well. And like I said, can there be a well-cooked turkey? Sure. But it's still never great. And it's always dry. And I'm not a big fan. So I am a sides guy. I'll cook a chicken and call it a turkey. Or I'll eat ham. Like turkey blows, and I've been on that train forever. So I didn't even eat turkey yesterday. So screw turkey. I'm not even such a fan of some of the other dishes too, like stuffing. Like
dude, no, let's not start with stuffing. Stuffing's legit.
Okay, I'm just saying I'm personally not a huge fan. I've had some stuffing. Sometimes it's been all right. Yams, ugh.
No, not on the yams. Not on the yams. Not on the sweet potato. The sweet potatoes.
Mashed potatoes too, like.
Oh, yours weird. Mashed potatoes and stuffing.
Okay, so you're just pretty much anti-turkey, but you like
turkey, cranberry sauce, yams, sweet potatoes. I could live without it. But like peas, corn, you mix the corn and the mashed potatoes with some pepper and salt and some gravy.
You're a very unhealthy eater. You don't ever eat any vegetables and stuff.
Oh, that is untrue. Trust me. There's plenty of times at work where guys are eating like wild buffalo chicken subs and all this stuff, and I'm eating. The other day I was eating salmon, green beans, and like couscous, and they're like, "What the fuck? This fucking you suck." Yeah. So what's up, Yoshi? Hope you had a good Thanksgiving as well. Verge hate turkey had a meatloaf yesterday. That's interesting. Meatloaf's even better. Momo. Adamo, hey boys, first time live with you. Okay, so maybe less listeners or less viewers today, but some new listeners. I like that. John Hassel, don't underestimate the tryptophan in turkey. Yes, 100%.
Hey, I know Assassin enjoyed his Thanksgiving yesterday because there was the new South Park special that was released yesterday.
Brian,
right, Assassin?
Brian says mac and cheese is disgusting. Brian, I appreciate your viewership, but leave. What's up, Scott Wilson? Okay, so enough about Thanksgiving. I hope you had a good day, Kyle. Definitely had a few glasses of wine myself, so that was a good time. And I'm obviously not going to record a podcast when that's happening. So make sure you go check out the film review, which will be out hopefully tonight, maybe tomorrow morning. And while I would say that this game is obviously disappointing, and in certain aspects of the game, there are still the blown defenses. There is still some bad individual play. You're playing a Dolphins team, 24-17. They made a ton of mistakes. And while if they were playing a better team, Indianapolis Colts team, a Buffalo Bills team, they would have got beaten by much more. But the positive thing about this game is, and we'll talk about all the players individually, is you had a lot of the young pieces that are building blocks of the future have individually good games. So it's a positive. And you're losing with guys like, Jason Pinnock, who's going to be a 5th or 6th guy next year, hopefully. You're losing with Isaiah Dunn, who's a UDFA playing his first legitimate snaps in the NFL. You're losing with guys. I forget what the safety's name is. 33, whatever his name is. I forget.
Riley.
Yeah, sure, sounds good. Riley. You're playing with a bunch of backups. So and that's why they lost this game. A lot of those pieces. Joe Flacco wasn't great. He was okay. We'll talk about him, but it was exciting because at least some of the young pieces stepped up. So overall, how'd you view the game? It was fun. Like, listen, if you were a Bears fan and you're watching this game, you're like, this sucks. Like, this is a terrible game. But as a Jets fan, like, at least they were somewhat competitive, which is like crazy that's their bar right now, is them just being competitive. But how'd you feel about it?
Yeah. It was definitely an interesting game. Part of my motivation for rooting so hard is I hate the Dolphins so much. And I've told you about that before. Definitely. Yeah. They're my second most hated team behind the Giants. I just hate them for so many reasons. But we don't need to get into that right now. Being that Flacco was, I put it this way, being that Zach is starting this week, I'm going to have a much more higher rooting interest and really going to be rooting hard for the team because I really want to see this kid do well. There was positives and negatives in the game. One of the things that was frustrating was, fucking up in the red zone. Yeah. That was definitely frustrating that
on both sides of the ball.
Yeah. Especially when, we did score on our first touchdown. Like, we got in on 4. Like, I wish we just punched it in with Michael Carter. Okay. Get tackled at the 1. We went for it on 4th down. Thank God we got it. I mean, it's kind of like a blown coverage by the Dolphins there. Yeah. That was frustrating. But then like the fumble, the Flacco, free, what was it? Was that Holland who was blitzed? No, it was Byron Jones, right? Who blitzed and, who nobody.
Yeah, I think so. And
yeah.
Yeah.
That was really frustrating to see that happen. And just, they were moving the ball pretty well overall in this game, but like they would slow down in the red zone. And
yeah, they had 2 or 3 trips in the red zone without points. They had the intentional grounding, which then turned into a missed field goal. They had the fumble, and maybe another time. And I know the other stat was they were in Miami territory, I think 5 times without points. So yeah, it was disappointing in the red zone from the offense, and then also from the defense. Obviously, you have that play where they, they get the sack to take the Dolphins either into really long field goal range, or into a punt. And there was, I believe that was the hold on Pinnock was that play. And then you had the other play,
JFM, right?
Yeah. Then you had the JFM late hit, which was absolutely brutal. Like I can excuse Quincy Wilson or not Quincy Williams. I can excuse, if it was Pinnock, if it was, Michael Carter II, if it was one of those guys getting a stupid penalty late or in that situation. Okay. I get it. You're a young guy. It's still not excusable, but it's less excusable when it's a guy like JFM, who's been in the league for 3-4 years. He took 2 full-blown steps. Like, he wasn't in the middle of a step. Like, it was 2 full-blown steps, hit the quarterback, a really, really dumb mistake. And Shaq Lawson, if it wasn't JFM, he was also going to get a penalty. So you have to play disciplined. Especially like learning not how to lose. Like, they lost that game. They could have won that game easily. So it's not learning how to win. Like, we're learning how to win, coming with that one big play at this one big moment. It's like, no, excuse my French, but you fucked yourself like multiple times in that game. So it was disappointing overall. But like I said, they were competitive, which is a positive. We're actually watching a game in the 4th quarter, some sweaty palms. I know me and you are pacing around our living rooms or whatever, watching a game. You can't sit down. And they were in it, and with that being said, some of the young guys played well. So that was fun to watch. But let's get into this quickly while some more people join. We'll just do Flacco really quick. I literally put up one play of Flacco in my review because nobody gives a shit about Joe Flacco. But what do you think
actually
about
do. I mean, I do. I'm happy he's there for a backup. I'm happy
he's gonna be gone. He's gonna be gone next year. Unless
he doesn't want to be on the Jets because he still wants to start in the league.
If it was honestly I couldn't care any less about Flacco because if it was like a Brian Hoyer or CJ Beathard or any of these guys who might be the backup next year, then sure. But he's literally hold on,
stop it. Don't give me this shit that you don't give a shit about Joe Flacco. You've been bitching all season and off season about, I don't like what they're doing with the backup quarterback. I don't like what they're doing with the backup quarterback. And I agree with you. And now they have a legit backup and you're still bitching.
No, I'm bitching. No, it's not bitching. I'm not bitching about which way do you want to take this? Because do I care about Joe Flacco playing? No, because he's not going to be here.
Fair.
And two,
fair.
If they were to bring in Joe Flacco in May, then sure, I'm fine with Joe Flacco as a backup. But the problem is they traded a draft pick because they panicked because they didn't have a real backup plan to Zach Wilson. And once he went down, they said, oh shit, we expected him to just go through 17 games healthy. And they traded a 6th-round pick that could be a 5th-round pick for a quarterback that I'm not going to say they could have had. People, again, the problem with a lot of people is they go to the free agency or whatever, and they assume that if the Jets were to offer the same contract or a similar contract to other teams, that player would sign with them. And Joe Flacco has been, I think there was a quote of him saying he basically didn't want to play with the Jets because he didn't feel like he was gonna be able to play. Like his mindset was like, I want to go play. He knew they were drafting Zach Wilson and he didn't come back. So like people always are like, oh, they should have just signed Flacco. He didn't want to come back to the Jets. He knew they were drafting a quarterback. So
I wonder though, if they offered him like real legit backup money, like maybe like highest backup quarterback money in the league, if he would have said, you know what, all right, I'll just stay with
but he's not even worth that. Why not just sign Brian Hoyer? He was in the building, or Beathard or Nick Mullins. Like I'll never understand that. It was still a terrible move. Like again, I think I'm more on the side of defending Joe Douglas than not defending him, like in the spectrum of Jets fans. But I'm not defending him for backup quarterback. I'm not defending him for the kicker position. I'm not defending him for linebacker. I'm not defending him for tight end. Like there's some positions
Matt Amendola has been pissing me off, man.
He's had 3 years. He's had 2.5 years to address the kicker situation, and he's done nothing. Like he does not give. And I'm just going to be a straight up conspiracy theorist. The reason he does not care about it is because he knows the Jets are not going to the playoffs, and if the kicker loses him a game, he could deal with that heat, and he wants the better draft position. And then once the Jets are competitive, he'll find a kicker. That's the only thing I can think of, because who the fuck is Matt Amendola? Last year it was Santos or whoever it was, and before that it was Vedvik, who was terrible.
We had the nose last year, who was with us in the offseason.
Fickett the nose. Yeah, but he was like the 3rd or 4th guy they brought in. Like the kicker position has been brutal. But Flacco, I thought it was okay. Like he was okay. He was super check down happy.
He's Flacco. He's
Flacco. He got pressure, got the ball out. He took the bad. That play, like there were so many different directions he could have been. Like based on the pre-snap look, I think they were rushing to the line. And just a weird look. I'm going to put it on Flacco because if he knew the pressure was there, he would have dumped it off to Coleman. If it wasn't Coleman, he could have dumped it off to Bowden. And if he knew the pressure was coming from that side, he would have, if not check the actual play, get the ball out quickly. And if it weren't that, then now you flex Coleman, who was to his right side, to his left side. You switch up your reads. And if that they're showing blitz from that side, you have Coleman as your replacement, as your hot route. And you just throw it. If they blitz, you throw it. And if not, whatever. But like that was on Flacco to me. So,
but you almost want, it's on Flacco. And I do agree with you that it's mostly on him, but you almost kind of wonder, like, he's been here, 2 weeks? And, does he overall know the system? Yeah. He said like he played in this system before when he was in Denver, but it's still like all the exact calls and stuff and learning to communicate with these exact players. That's still relatively new to him. So it makes you wonder if he was with the team for longer, he wouldn't have made this relatively simple mistake like that.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. Get to the question. I'm not gonna hit Joe Flacco for a while, but again, dump it off to Coleman. I know Coleman wasn't looking, but he's going to look. Throw a softball to him, or Bowden was right there on like a short stick, like just hit him. But better Flacco than McCown. Yeah, well, I'd rather have McCown because I think McCown would do more for Zach Wilson than Flacco would, because Flacco doesn't give a shit.
That's true.
Brian saying all I care about is watching the young guys next year because the team will look a lot different. I get that. And Eagle's actually in here. Eagle's usually commenting, but he hasn't been in the live stream in a couple of days, maybe, or in a couple of times. Maybe that's because of the Lightning are playing or something like that. Which, by the way, Devils handed the Lightning an L a couple days ago, maybe a week ago at this point. I forget.
Eagle
I forget
did come
exactly.
in our last live stream, but he wasn't there at the beginning. He came towards the end.
No, Met Jet Pat. I don't know if somebody did this already, but the Jets tried out a Blewett at kicker. That's Chris Blewett. It's BLEWITT. I think I'm BLETT. Yeah. So we're obviously not the same. For the same family. Andrew Golden, what's up, man? They should have signed Minshew. I don't agree with Minshew thing because he's another guy who probably wants to still thinks he can start. So
yeah, and how is Minshew going to mentor?
Yeah, exactly.
He's not a crafty veteran, you know. There is something. I mean, Minshew's got what 15 starts or something like that in his career versus Flacco, who's got hundreds of starts. There's a big difference in terms of the knowledge that Flacco could implant versus something that Minshew could. So,
did y'all see the Flacco greeting then the team during the introductions? Man, did he look miserable? I don't know if it's like a Jets website thing. I don't watch any Jets videos right now. I don't watch press conferences. Nothing. The only time I watch stuff is I'm like a cherry picker now. Is when they win. If they win, I'm like excited. Like, oh yeah, I want to see what Zach Wilson has to say and stuff like that. But other than that, I watch nothing that they put up.
I didn't see it either, but I'm just based on what I'm hearing about that
he looks like a miserable prick.
That's kind of his. I think that's his personality in general. I think he's very Jeb Bush, low energy. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm not going to go too far into him, but he looked okay. Minus that fumble. Good to see something different there. And the intentional grounding that he picked up again. Just throw it out of the back of the red zone or at the back of the end zone, and you're good there. So it is what it is. He played okay. Nobody cares. Moving on, I guess we'll hit the other really position that's like nobody cares about because there's nobody here who's going to be here in a few years, or hopefully even next year. Tight ends, nothing really stood out to me, minus Wesco, who had one really, really nice block on Jalen Phillips. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, he did. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Crushed him. And a lot of people hate on Wesco, and there are times where, he comes in.
You know what's funny about that block? After the play was over and Phillips was driving, I don't know, 5+ yards downfield, mm-hmm. he looks behind at Wesco, kind of like, man, he fucking rocked the shit out of me. Like you could just tell like by his body language after the play, like, yeah, he beat the shit out of me there.
Yeah.
It's funny.
We did sign a kicker to the practice squad. I forget his name, Yoshi. Why can't we just go grab Borregales off Tampa's practice squad? I have no idea. I don't know. I just sign him. Well, I guess the problem is when he's on the practice squad, you have to sign him to the active roster, and they don't know if he's good. The thing is, like, Matt Amendola has been bad, but he hasn't been like Vedvik bad. Like there's some games where he's like 2 for 2, 3 for 3. So while he's not good, he's not as bad as like a Vedvik.
And he did look good in camp, and he does have a leg. Like, sometimes you get these kickers who like longtime kicker for Buffalo. His name's slipping my mind at the moment. Like this dude was pretty much automatic, like in the 40s and stuff, but he couldn't hit stuff in the 50s range. So like Buffalo, like they would never really kick a lot of field goals above 50 yards. Like Amendola can hit like a 55 yarder. He does have a leg.
Oh, he could, if it was no wind, like if just on the strength of his leg alone, he could hit 60+ yarder, but the problem is the accuracy that comes with it.
Yeah.
I wish we had Nick Folk back. That's for sure. He comes off as a Jay Cutler personality type, except not everyone hates him. Yeah. The tight ends minus Griffin, whatever. Other than that, Wesco had that nice block, and like people hate Wesco, and like, listen, like is he going to be a tight end 1, 2, 3? Maybe not, but and does he get top heavy sometimes? Does he play with lack of control sometimes? Does he fall on his face sometimes? Yes, but at the same time, people just want to get rid of him and dump him off. But then there's plays where he makes really good blocks on like an ISO or whatever it may be. And like next year, you're telling me that, let's just say Nick Bowden is the answer at fullback, and maybe Wesco is your tight end 4, and there's a set where they bring in like 22 personnel, and Wesco's one of the fullbacks, and Bowden's one of your fullback or your running back fullbacks, and you're running, like, okay, that's fine. Like Wesco's maybe never a starter. He's never a starter, but he can block for the most part, but people hate on him.
Let me get your thoughts on this, because I personally would like to see more of this. When they're doing more single tight end sets and, he's more in like a passing role, like, especially since like what Croft is like has been hurt. When you have a single tight end who's running routes, it's usually Griffin. And at this point in their career, yeah, maybe it's fair to say that Griffin is a better receiving tight end than Wesco, but the truth is we're not seeing Wesco run a lot of routes and stuff, and we're not
Rarely,
seeing him.
yeah.
So I want to see more of that. Right. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah. Cause it's not like Griffin is running, routes versus man coverage and like separating versus guys. Like he had a big play this week, and it was like on like a leak play. Like
yeah. And in terms of his yak ability, like Griffin, like when he catches the ball, he's so stiff afterwards. Like with Wesco, Wesco's not a great mover, but like Wesco, he's got much more of the ability to like truck someone and fall forward and gain extra yards or potentially break a tackle.
He showed some of that at West Virginia.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like Griffin's not breaking tackles. He's not evading people and stuff. So I do want to see them actually get Wesco out on routes more instead of just primarily using him more as like in the fullback type role.
Yeah, even just sneaking him out, it's like, again, like on that leak play, like why couldn't they put him in there?
Exactly. And also just to kind of deceive teams too, because you haven't shown that look yet too. So teams aren't going to be keying for that because they haven't seen it on film yet.
And he's 275 pounds, so you're going to assume he's going to block, like he's a big dude. So yeah, let's move on for that. Cause again, nobody cares about Joe Flacco. Nobody cares about Wesco. I'm sure there are some who care about Wesco. Nobody cares about Griffin. All these guys are most likely going to be gone. Yeah, the Lions game yesterday was absolutely abysmal, and the people talking about the offensive line too. The offensive line was actually better, but we'll talk about the running back position. We're doing some of the skill positions at first, I guess. Running backs, what'd you think in this game?
Well, prior to Michael Carter getting hurt, he looked like Michael Carter again, man. He's really impressive. In terms of the other running backs, I liked what you pointed out in your film review against the Bills about Tevin Coleman and his vision. You brought up one good play where like he completely, like he literally probably could have 20, 30 yards downfield potentially. And
he's cut right into the block.
Cut right into it. Yeah. Like when I watch Coleman, on any given play, it looks like he might explode for a big gain.
Coleman?
Like even though he's kind of like in the later stages of his career, he still does have that explosiveness, but it's always kind of like whether it's the overstriding or he's just
that lack of vision.
There's something always kind of missing on a play, but like I feel like he might, snap off a big run here or there at some point in the season, but it was tough to see Michael Carter go down, man. And I really wanted him to get that long touchdown.
Yeah. That was annoying. That was annoying that he was brought down to one.
Yeah. And that's kind of one thing that, we kind of both pointed out, like after the Jets drafted him, is he doesn't kind of have that long speed. He's more quick, average, fast. Yeah.
It's average,
but he's a fucking baller, man. And like, he's legit turning into a true like running back one type dude. And didn't Golden do a piece on him? I didn't read it, but
for who?
Didn't Andrew Golden write a piece about Michael Carter for the website?
I'm sure. I'm pretty sure, but a lot of people have written.
I feel like I saw him tweet
Michael
about
Carter
it.
At this point. He's like the third best player on offense. That people have written.
Well, I'm trying to bump the Jet X.
Yeah, of course. Hey, I'm just saying. If Coleman hits the right hole, he's good, but he can't really find the hole. So yeah, that's a very big part of it. So yeah, I'm not again. Coleman's a jag to me, who has some good speed and might be able to break it, but he's a jag. Ty Johnson is a jag. Let's be honest. If these guys were on other teams, you wouldn't blink twice when you're seeing them on a roster. But Michael Carter has legitimately proven to be a 1A, 1B back. He's legitimately really, really good. Like never gets broken down by the first tackle. Really patient, really good leverage, really good ball protection, good receiver, getting better as a pass blocker. There's multiple times this week where, and you'll see in the review, if you guys watch and Kyle, when you watch, I did it at least 2 or 3 times this play or that review where I paused it like multiple times during the play. I'm like, if I told you Michael Carter got 3 yards here, you would not believe me. Pause it again. If I told you he got this many yards here, you would not believe me. And like, there were so many situations where, stuff wasn't really necessarily open for him. And these are more plays where like he should have been brought down to the line of scrimmage where he got 2, 3, 4, 5 yards. Like the play where he ran for the long play, which will be the highlight play, was really more the offensive line than him. Like he just hit a massive hole that was there. So the plays are really impressive to me that again, should be losses for yardage. And he's gaining 2, 3, 4, 5 yards, staying in front of the sticks. So he's been really, really damn impressive. So gloated about him a little bit.
And we could say this right now in terms of it's one little kind of minor attribute that doesn't happen every time he touches the ball.
Yeah.
But in terms of running backs in the league, I'd say he's probably top 5 in terms of running backs in the league that are able to lighten the load on the leg that's about to get hit by a defender. He's so good.
Now.
He's so good at that, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely brought that up a lot in his college review. And it's been showing up in
it shows up almost on a weekly basis.
And that's why he's not like a power back, but he's really slippery because he knows how to shift his weight. Like it's so little, but it makes such a big difference when he's running. So yeah, he's been really, really impressive. I've been a massive fan, and Eagle said he was wrong about Carter 1. I don't remember exactly what Eagle's take was. I'm hoping it wasn't that he was too small, because it's the dumbest take out there. So Eagle, respect you a lot, but if that was your take, if he was too small to be a number 1 back, then it just doesn't make sense, because it means nothing being small as a running back. Rusty, what's up, man? He's saying, we're gonna get to LDT in a second. I see that in there after the receivers. Hutchinson over Thibodeau. This is a conversation right now. I don't know. I don't know. I know Thibodeau was hyped up to be the next like Chase Young, who underperformed this year before he got hurt. And now you're hearing Hutchinson is Joey Bosa. Is it because he goes to like,
Big Ten.
Big Ten school. JJ Watt was like the Wisconsin right now. He's at where the hell is he?
You talking about the Watts?
No.
Oh no, Hutchinson's Michigan. Yeah,
Michigan. It's like those Midwest type states. White dude, like technician. Like, is that why he's Bosa or?
I mean, it is
like,
true that like both offensive and defensive line play in the Big Ten is good. A lot of good pros come out of there, but
yeah,
that actually we were at Thanksgiving dinner yesterday, and my dad was kind of joking. He said, "Hey, the Jets might get the 2nd overall pick again." And I was like, and the Lions game was on. I was like, honestly, I'm hoping for the Lions to win this game. I don't want the Jets to lose games this year, but if it does happen and we do get the first pick, like, okay. And my brother's like, well, who would you even want? And I was like, I don't really know at this point. I guess Thibodeau. I was like, I guess Thibodeau. He's like, yeah, but the guy Hutchinson's better. And I was like, well, I really don't know, because I didn't watch any Hutchinson yet. I haven't watched. Yeah, I literally can't even think of one highlight play in my brain yet. But Thibodeau, I did watch it, like some of Thibodeau, because when I was watching AVT's college film, I got to see some of Thibodeau from all 22. So.
Yeah, again, so people will ask that, but again, I don't dive into college stuff at all during the season, like zero. I'll break down 20, 25 guys during the offseason and like who the Jets draft and stuff like that, but I will not be able to tell you. But the thing is, like, people, and just getting to that, like, I'm not going to the draft really much at all, but like, people are saying like DN's like a massive need for the Jets. Again, I think there's a lot bigger needs on the Jets, but a really good DN is such a hard position to find, that if they are in that top 3 and it's Thibodeau or Hutchinson and they're there and are legitimately that good, you can't just skip on a guy who's that good, especially defensive backs are really, really hard to find. Mm-hmm. But just evaluating each position on the Jets roster, like linebacker, safety, corner, tight end, right guard are all bigger needs than the end right now, especially Carl Lawson coming back, JFM, you have Q, and then you have Huff as well. And I think one of Lawson or Fadukasi are back. I don't see both of them coming back. I think one of those guys is on the team next year, one is not. And that's a lot of resources poured into there. So, but moving past that,
wait, why wouldn't Huff be back with the team?
No, Fadukasi or Rankins. I don't know if I screwed that up.
Yeah, you said Huff. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, yeah. So I think it's Fadukasi or Rankins come back. Like, I think if it's Fadukasi, you use the money you cut Rankins with to sign Fadukasi. And again, if Fadukasi's gone, okay, we'll keep Rankins for whatever.
No, I'd rather have Fadukasi.
Oh, well, hell yeah. Even though he's a much better 2-gapper than he is a 1-gapper. Like, he got caught early this game on a trapper or wham. He got caught pretty bad. But then twice later in the game, he felt the block back and he worked through it. So he did better. He adjusted. So that was good. Let's see. I want to get to the chat really, really quick, and then we'll hit the receivers and the tight ends. I'm going to avoid the stuff about the offensive line, because I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. Andrew did do one on the Bengals game, so check that out. I plan in the off season, January, February. I plan on doing like a Michael Carter, Elijah Moore, like a lot of the young guys, reviews of those guys. So make sure you check that out when that comes out in 2 months. Flash Aussie Gordon from Panama. Nice test for Johnson to see if he's a running back 2 or running back 3. Let's see. Over the next 2-3 weeks. I think he's a depth guy. I don't think he's a 2. I think he's a 3. I just Ty Johnson's vision is not good. It's just not. He rushes his runs really, really badly. He's not great as a pass protector. So I think he's a role player 3 or 4. I just don't see him as a 2. Maybe he could be.
He's a very bad pass protector, actually.
Yeah. And he's really, really impatient. How do you feel the doctor play? Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. Chuba Hubbard over Carter. People are comparing Hutch to Bosa because he's white and wears 97. Yeah, again, it's just is what it is. What's up, Mike? I see you in here. Devils down by 1, have a power play now. Yeah, I'm hoping they can pull it out versus the Preds. But Evan Neal, then trade down round 1. Yeah. Again, I don't really know. I don't know these guys. It depends because like right tackle right now, if Fanta is back next year or Moses is back next year, right tackle is a secondary need. You know, if you're going to roll a Fant, he's 28, 29, like if you're going to re-up him and you're going to be comfortable with a average to below average tackle for the next couple of years. Okay. Right guard's a bigger need. You know,
I think they should both be back. Right. I know you can get out of the Fant contract
for like 10 mil, but what does Moses come back for?
If you can get him for the same deal that you got him for this year, I think that's a no-brainer.
I don't think so.
You don't think you'd be able to?
I don't think you'd be able to. Not because he's playing better than he played in 2020 with the Washington football team. It's because
he wants a guaranteed starting job.
It's the starting job part of it. It's the fact that teams are going to have more money this year. And they signed him so late in the offseason where I think a lot of teams didn't have a lot of cap space. And this year there will be that team willing to throw $5, $6, $7 million at him to make them his starter this year. So I don't see Moses being back.
Because he wasn't released at the beginning of free agency when teams still had a lot of money. He kind of got released later on when teams had already spent their money. So
yeah,
that does make sense. But if you could get him back, especially given Becton's injury history, I think it makes a ton of sense to have all 3 of those guys as tackles.
Yeah,
you want to talk about the downgrade between Fant and Moses versus McDermott. Even when McDermott stepped in for a couple plays in this past game, man, he's terrible. His footwork is so ugly.
He is so bad.
He's really bad. Yeah.
Yeah. We should have Adams playing with our new fullback. That dude can block and catch. Josh Adams playing. Yeah, but Josh Adams went to another team. He's not on the practice squad anymore.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the Jets cut. No, the Jets didn't. It was something to the effect of they brought him up for a game, and then they wanted to re-sign him to the practice squad, and he basically said, "No, I don't want to be on the practice squad." I actually don't know if he got signed to another place or he's just a free agent just sitting out there. He just didn't want to be at the Jets practice squad anymore. He basically told us,
I mean, that's kind of dumb. If you're trying to get on an active roster and you're refusing to be on a practice squad and you're a running back, which are a dime a dozen, you got a short shelf life, that's a pretty stupid move.
Yeah.
Like what teams? Yeah. Oh, let me get this guy who just refused to be on a practice squad.
Yeah.
He thinks he's so good. Like
Andrew, I agree with drafting Neal. Like if they're that high on him and they feel that he's going to be that right tackle for years, and then you have Neal, you have AVT, you have Becton, and you have McGovern, who's an average-ish center. I think, again, a lot of people's view of him is a little bit skewed, but he's an okay center, that's gonna happen on some offensive lines. They're gonna have an okay player or two. But if they can cut Fant or reduce his salary, and then you draft Neal, and then you use that money in free agency elsewhere, like that's fine. But we'll see. We have a lot. I don't think we need to spend anything more than a second rounder on a lineman this year. If it's a right guard, I'm fine with. Like if the Seattle pick is at 10 and it's like Green or Linderbaum or whatever, I'm cool taking either one of those guys. Like I'm fine with having elite guards, good tackles, a solid center. Like I'm okay with all that. But moving on,
dude, having great offensive linemen, regardless of where you can get them in. I mean, listen. Like Quentin Nelson, 6 overall, like nobody was questioning whether or not he was going to be a good player, but there were some people saying, 6, that's the highest guard taken in the draft since whenever. And they kind of reached, there was some people saying that was kind of a reach, and it clearly wasn't.
It's the best guard in the NFL.
Right. Like, so like having
People
great
put-
offensive linemen, like there's just, you can't replace that, man.
And people put too much into positional value too. Like sometimes I think, to be honest, and especially with the offensive line, like, oh, you could draft a really high guard or a right tackle, or sorry, you could draft a really high left tackle, but you can't draft a really hard guard or right tackle. Like there's a little bit of difference, but having a good offensive lineman is having a good offensive lineman. Like Zach Martin has made a big impact.
Yeah,
like let's not get crazy with that stuff. So if Linderbaum is really that good, or if Kenyon Green is really that good, and he's sitting there at 7-6, whatever it is, and you feel he can
what college does he go to?
Green?
Yeah.
I forget. I don't know, to be completely honest. Again, I don't know.
Okay.
And Linderbaum's what, Iowa?
He's Iowa.
Dude, I do not get into draft stuff. I know Kenyon Green is the highest rated guard. That's all I know. I don't. Maybe he's as a red team. Is it a red team? I forget. But like people be like, oh, this linebacker in the top 10. If the linebacker is fucking Michael Parsons and he's making the impact he is now, then who cares? You can draft him over a corner.
He's a beast, man. He's very explosive, man.
But so now with that, like guard, tight end, if they're good, they're good. Take them. With that being said, I am like that about 21 out of the 22 positions, because if they're drafting a running back high, I will murder somebody, and unless he really, really, really falls. Like unless it's like, what was it, Gurley who was in the first round? Or
Gurley was 10th overall.
Okay, so let's say Gurley falls to like the second round, and he's that highly rated, and you're at pick 34. Okay, then I get it. But in terms of like a first round pick, absolutely not with running back.
And Gurley was
Kenyon Green
really
is Texas A&M.
And this is exactly the point. Like nobody's doubting how good Gurley is. He was really good for several years in the league, but 10th overall, and like now he's a shell of his former self now.
Is he on the team?
Same thing with Saquon, right? Like Saquon 2nd overall. Nobody was quite. I mean, there were some people questioning how good Saquon was, and people were making that LaDainian Tomlinson comparisons, and some people were like, that's not. And Saquon was great right out the gate, man. Like he was tearing it up, having big long runs and everything. But running back, you're getting hit by 300-pound dudes every single play. You got people piling on top of you all the time, every time a game. You're not going to last long. So like that's a big part of why the running back position, and it's easy to get a guy, Michael Carter, fourth round.
Yeah, Brian says I think a top QB or cornerback, safety, or wide receiver prospect. Listen, I'm okay with corner, safety. They don't need a wide receiver. Like obviously, if it's Jamar Chase, take him. I don't know of anybody that high in the draft who would be a wide receiver prospect. That's a secondary need for the Jets. It's not a primary need. And I get like the whole like positional value and all that stuff. I'm pretty much like BPA, like especially in the first like, round or two, just best player on the board for the most part. Now, if you're sitting there and let's say it's I don't know, Kyle Hamilton, who's in their draft charts at 8.9, and then you have a guy in what's not a need right now, like I don't know, a D end is a 8.8. Or no, so start like a 9 or a 9.1, then maybe you reach for need a little bit if it's like that close. But when one guy is clearly so high above the other, just take the best player. That's kind of where I'm at. Barkley suffers a pen. Okay, so getting into the receivers, what do you think? We'll go individually through mainly the two guys. Crowder was solid. Didn't really notice a lot of Cole. And I would mention
Crowder's hands have been a little suspect this year. There was one ball he caught really late in the game, hit him in both his hands, but he bobbled it at first.
Actually, let me get to this. Sorry, too. I agree with you. We're talking about the draft. I don't want to talk a lot about the draft. I saw this. I want to ask you. Whatever the situation may be, you're on the board. It's pick 4. Kyle Hamilton's the best player on the board. Are you so against taking a safety in this draft? That high? It was Kyle Hamilton?
No, I'm not. I mean, he would have to be insanely good for me to take him at 4.
People are saying, like, again, we don't know. I could watch his film back to you. I think it's like a second-round player. People are talking about like generational safety with him.
I mean, people said the same thing about the Ohio State safety,
Malik Hooker.
Yeah, and.
Yeah, but then Jamal Adams was taking over.
Guaranteed top 10 pick, people were saying, and then he slid to like 20 with the Colts or whatever. So I don't know. I'm not against in principle. Like, no, if he's a really, really, really good player. I mean, look at the other Notre Dame safety who was drafted in the first round, Harrison Smith. I mean, Harrison Smith's had a hell of a career for himself.
I think people are scored by Jamal Adams, but every pick in the top 5 or 10 at safety is not going to be Jamal Adams. People don't understand that.
And Jamal was a really good player too. Like, there were players I would have taken over him, especially when you had such a big need at quarterback. Hello. I called you one night when you were in a drunken stupor and I told you Patrick Mahomes needs to be the pick. And you and I had a brief little argument that night. But that was who I wanted that year. But I also I would have also taken Watson and Trubisky and even Mitch Trubisky. I would have taken over Jamal Adams too. I regret to say that.
Yeah.
But Jamal Adams was not a bad pick. I mean, like, just because we're happy we traded him away and fleeced the Seahawks, he was still not a bad pick.
When he was on the team, people were saying he was going to go to the Hall of Fame. Like, we were all saying he's going to go to the Hall of Fame. Like, he's on the trajectory. And like, while and I started to get into the draft stuff with like positional value and stuff, because somebody said that they feel those positions are more impactful than getting an offensive lineman, which individually, like, are we maybe struggling in terms of at safety more than center or like offensive line in general, like the position as a whole? Yeah, sure. But at the same time, while that may make more of an impact individually, the offensive lineman helps your rookie quarterback or your second year quarterback develop, which is much more important than the defense succeeding in year 2 of Zach Wilson. It's about the offense.
So to answer your question, here's the other thing too. When you pick that high, you also have a very, very, very solid idea of what other teams are going to pick. Like, this is part of the reason why teams will leak stuff to reporters and stuff, because if they leak something to the reporter can then give them some information that they want too, so they can kind of see who's doing what. So like, here's another thing you could do. You could maybe slide down a couple of slots and still get your guy that you want there. Right. So like, let's say that the Jets had maybe a very, very, very slightly higher grade on someone like Kyle Hamilton than they did like a Linderbaum. Very, very slightly higher grade on Hamilton. But the Jets think, okay, well, Linderbaum's better for the young quarterback, and we believe in positional value too, and we can slide back, get extra picks, and still get Linderbaum. Okay, so we'll slide back a little bit too. But even if I couldn't slide back, if I had a slightly lower grade on someone like Linderbaum than Hamilton, I would take Linderbaum because I believe in positional value. And
protecting Zach.
It's about Zach, man. We got to develop the kid.
Yeah. While again, safety is probably a bigger need than interior offensive line, because the offensive line is okay, while safety is absolutely dreadful, especially considering that you don't have LaMarcus Joyner next year. You don't have Marcus May next year. So you literally have you have Asher Davis, and that's your safeties going into 2022. So, but with that being said, again, it's about making Zach comfortable. So I'm okay with taking, again, Linderbaum or Kenyon Green or whoever it may be. Bird Gang said, what's up, guys? Great content. Let's collab next week. Bird Gang, I appreciate that. It'd have to be Kyle because I'm getting married again, reception, and then going to St. Thomas. So I will definitely not be able to collab with the Eagles game. If Kyle wants to, then hit up Kyle.
So it's an Eagles podcaster.
I'm assuming his name is Bird Gang, and let's collab next week when we're playing the Eagles. So I would assume so.
I mean, I'm down if someone wants to contact me.
Yeah. It'd have to be Kyle. So you're getting the B squad. I'm kidding, Kyle. So I would go Evan Neal, no doubt. You can't trust Becton. Well, I don't want. There's so much time to talk about draft. But people talk about Kyle Hamilton like they would never draft Kyle Hamilton. If Kyle Hamilton's a 9.5, let's just say 9.5. I don't know the draft board. A 9.5, and your next pick is, let's say it's Evan Neal or Kenyon Green, and they're like 8.7s. Like they have him as like a true like blue chip prospect, like Hall of Fame level, like trajectory player. You take that player. Like you gotta take the guy who you think is gonna be an elite stud. And people talk about Hooker versus. I've never seen, for me personally, since I've been like doing podcasts and stuff, I've never seen somebody hyped up as much as Hamilton personally. But I can also go and watch and make the dude's overrated. Rashawn Gary was drafted in the top 20 last year, a couple of years ago, and you had what's his face, who was really bad, Cleveland Farrell, who was drafted at 3 or whatever.
Fourth overall, yeah.
Fourth, yeah. So, and he was drafted. He wasn't even that good in college. I had him barely in the first round. Like when I was watching him, I did like a big board of like 20 guys, and like he was 20th out of the 20 guys I watched. Like I did.
Dude, he was a healthy scratch for the Raiders a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. Apparently you got DM'd on Twitter, Kyle. So hit up Bird Gang if you want to do that.
All right, I'll check it later.
LD Caesar,
Thanks.
Kenyon Green is going to be, yeah. And a lot of these guys, again, if you're new, like, I hope you're not new. If you are, that's great. But a lot of these guys, like, I will do reviews. Like, I'll have 10 to 15 reviews on like draft guys before the Jets draft. And like, these are the targets. And then after I do the whole class, so you'll get reviews on them. Don't worry. I'm sure not worried, but I don't pay attention to college football like that during the season. I just don't. And people talk about Jamal Adams, and it is great that he gets traded for a shitload of capital, goes to a team smoking cigars, so happy to leave the Jets, a dysfunctional franchise. And now the Seahawks right now are even in a worse position than the Jets. It's great. Like, they're going to they're either getting rid of Pete Carroll or they're getting rid of Russell Wilson. They absolutely suck.
It's an easy decision who you get rid of.
Pete Carroll.
Of course.
Get rid of Pete
No
Carroll.
question about it.
But it's like, listen, trade him to apparently like the Giants are getting rumored right now. I would hate the Giants because fuck the Giants. But anywhere else but the Giants, same thing for Deshaun Watson.
If the Giants got Russell Wilson, I would be so pissed, man.
I would be. Our luck is the Jets will get better, but then the Giants will have Russell Wilson and the Dolphins will have
Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson.
Those
are the
My
those
two
are the two teams.
I
Same.
hate those fucking teams, man.
1 and 2 are the Dolphins and the Giants. I hate the Pats, but the Pats have kicked their shit in so much over the last couple of years that I'm numb to it.
You got to kind of respect them.
Anymore.
You have to kind of respect them.
The
Dolphins haven't earned my respect.
I've said it, and the Dolphins gloat like they're such a good team over the last 20 years. Like, they look down on the Jets when they're just as bad, if not worse, the last 20 years. Actually, they're worse. It's not even if not worse. Like, they're worse than the Jets the last 20 years. So, with that being said, people like to shit on how the Pats fans are so cocky and all this stuff. The Jets win like 7-8 games when we start talking shit. So if we won 6-7 rings, like, listen, we're going to talk shit too. So I get it, and I root against the Patriots. I was like, they have the Bruins, they have the Red Sox, they have the Pats, they have the Celtics. Like, that city, that area has so much goddamn championships that I'm like, okay, who cares? At this point, like, whatever, just another one stacked on. Like, a lot of people, this might be a little bit controversial, but like, people are talking about like this year, like, oh, the Bills or the Pats win the AFC East. I'd rather the Pats because they've been there. I'm so numb to their talking shit, where the Bills fans talk shit like they've been good for 10 years now. They've been good for 2 years. And this year they're disappointing, if anything, minus, they just blew out the Saints, but they're not supposed to be, what are they, 6-5, 7-5 right now? So if anything, I'd rather have the Pats win
7-4, maybe.
They've won the AFC 1,000 times. What's 1,001 times? Like, who cares? I don't know.
But it's a little different now because now they got Mac Jones, and now you're gonna hear, oh, you guys could have taken Mac Jones, but you took fucking Tom Cruise from BYU, and we got the real Tom Brady 2.0. Like, now we're gonna have to hear that shit.
Yeah, I get it, but I'd rather have that than Gary looking down upon us like the Bills are such a good franchise. Like the guys like Gary's out there and the Rockpile reports. Like, I don't want them to have that on us. Like, I just can't. Like, the Pats already have it on us. Whatever. Oh, I'm shocked that the Pats found another quarterback and Bill Belichick's managing him well and winning games. Oh, colored me freaking shocked. I'm not. But the Bills winning and actually being a good franchise, no, I can't get down with it. So, yeah, so I get the Pat hate, but it's just I'm numb to it at this point. So going to receivers, Crowder, you mentioned his hands aren't as good, and I don't think he's gonna be back next year. I think it's probably Keelan Cole who's back next year. And then you have.
You can tell the team definitely likes Keelan Cole, man. They're letting him do these little interviews and stuff, man.
Yeah, he's funny as hell. And then you have what's the name? I want to mention this too, just in terms of Barrios. He's been good as a punt returner, and Coleman has been good.
He's been really good as a punt returner.
Coleman's a good kick returner too. I'm impressed. He hasn't really done. I don't think he's done that in his career.
So I'm saying Coleman is still explosive, man. He's just yeah running back.
Pats fans think
a lot more to a running back than being explosive.
Tom Brady already. Nobody's gonna be Tom Brady again. People talk about Rex Ryan. Yeah, by the way, Rex Ryan really backed up on that, right? Rex Sal basically call him out. You know where I'm at, and Rex was like, "Listen, I love the guy." Like, what a bitch.
Like, I can't remember another thing in sports where there was something like that, where one guy is basically talking shit about a guy he's never met before, and then a couple days later, they have a phone call, talk for the first time, and I love the guy, and
I love the guy. The team's going in the right direction.
Plan for the future. Like, I'm a huge fan. Like, they finally got the right.
They got the quarterback. They got the coach.
You just did a 180, bro. Like, what? In a couple of days?
Yeah. And Mims didn't play this. People talk about Mims. Mims, yeah.
He was on the COVID list, wasn't he?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is on the COVID list, and he is such an interesting like scenario because we don't know what the hell's gonna happen. Like his year one, his college tape, awesome. Year two, he came in when he was in like a first snap or two, he made great plays. He gets a full-time role in the Colts game with Josh Allen. He had like 2-3 drops. So I like Mims' talent, but again, I'll say it, and it's becoming, I say it too much. All progression isn't linear. He could be a good player year 3, 4, but right now he's buried on the depth chart. You know, he had his shot. And listen, people love Mims, and I love Mims too, but it seems like he came in, he didn't work as hard. Corey Davis insinuated that in an interview, so that kind of tipped you off. He got sick. He missed his year one, basically, the training camp and all that stuff. He had his opportunity, and it got to his head a little bit, and he was body catching balls and dropping balls. So now he's buried, and he's probably going to be buried for a while. And his chance to shine is going to be 2022 offseason, you know, and prove to this team that he could be a reliable receiver and make his way into hopefully the starting lineup. Because next year, if we have Mims, what we thought Mims was going to be 2021 in 2023, and you have Mims, Corey Davis, Elijah Moore, Keelan Cole, I'm like, all right, sweet, you know. But what is Mims now? Like we have no idea.
Yeah.
So I want to hit on that real quick before we get to the other receivers.
It almost makes you wonder too if something's going on personally with the kid.
Yeah.
You never know, and that could be the case for so many people. But just like, you know, I mean, things like little like catching with your body, something you're not used to seeing, like little concentration drops and things like that. Lack of work ethic. I mean, it is possible that something could be going on personally. When you're not really fully focused into the game, you're going to make little mistakes like that and stuff. And even someone myself who did decently well playing college football my first year and stuff, I was extremely homesick and dealing with stuff personally. And like, it was hard for me to really be focused on the game. So I don't know with him. He's a strange case to say the least. I can't quite figure out what's going on with him. In terms of, so your question was about the future for next year and what the Jets are going to do at receiver, or I'm sorry, what was exactly your question?
Tommy R, we're about to hit on that in a couple of minutes, by the way. My question was just in terms of like general outlook, like where like how does he rebound from here? Like what's his outlook going to the rest of the year and then into next year?
Yeah. So the problem is like, dude, he had his shot when Corey Davis missed those couple games and he didn't capitalize. And like, that was your chance to go out there. In that game, those games, especially the Colts game, he played 80 something% of the snaps, probably something like that. I mean, it was a really high percentage of the snaps. I don't know what it was off the top of my head, but it was a lot because they view him as like an X. And when Corey's obviously getting paid good money, they basically view them as the same type of role. Corey's healthy. I mean, you played like dog shit in that game. Corey's healthy now. So now,
and the
you know, like if he played good in either of those games, you almost kind of forced the Jets into a situation like, okay, we got to find a way to get this guy in the field more. But you played like shit and you kind of reconfirm the beliefs of the coaching staff. Like, you aren't ready to be out there. Yeah. So we're not going to put you out there. So like, he's not going to get a lot of snaps as long as Corey Davis is healthy. And when
2022 offseason's his time.
Yeah. I'm not expecting, honestly, like I had super high expectations for him this year.
11 touchdowns. You said 11 touchdowns.
I definitely at least said 10. I don't know if I said 11, but I definitely
pretty sure it was 11.
10. Okay.
Pretty sure it was 11.
I'm not denying that.
Yeah. You said something corny, like 11 touchdowns for 11 or something like that.
You said something corny?
Corny. Yeah. 11 touchdowns for 11 would be very corny. And that's
I thought that he'd be catching some fade balls and stuff like that, man. Even though he didn't have a lot of yak in college, he has yak ability. And we saw that in the preseason, right? I thought he'd even be getting some of those types of
that whole thing pissed me off so much, saying he's not a yak player in college because he ran 1,000 fade routes, and fade routes are the least conducive route to getting yak. And then people just ran with that narrative. It's just crazy. But yeah, I think again, he's talented, and Julian said it well. Too much talent to fail, but he also has to be there mentally. A lot of the game is mental. But with that being said, like, what I'd like to see Mims the next couple of weeks, like, listen, in the red zone, if it's a fade, I want nobody over on the team over Mims, you know, him over, you know, the running freaking Keelan Cole and Barrios and all these guys in the red zone, and like taking more out, which I don't love. Like, LaFleur has made a lot of steps forward the last couple of weeks, but I don't notice more in the red zone a lot at all, which bothers me. Can Elijah Moore reach 10 touchdowns? I think so. But
yeah, we're seeing more in the red zone on like, orbit motion screens and stuff like that. But
isolate him and let him run a route.
Yeah, of course. Like when you saw last night when Stephon Diggs, when he was going one-on-one with Marshawn Lattimore, let Moore run a route like that, ISO'd on the backside.
Let's get into, so we got into the other receivers. What do you think about Corey Davis this game?
He was fine.
I put him in the negative category this game.
Okay, so why don't you tell me why then, and then I'll.
Well, the one play was on like a deep. I don't know if it was like a dig or I think it was a dig. It was like, or maybe it's a post. I forget exactly what it was. It might have been a post because it's like a post wheel, or maybe it's like a dig wheel, like a little bit of maybe they changed it up based on the look, whatever it was. Because Moore ran a really nice route behind it. Actually, he like delayed, like he was blocking, like stalk blocking, and then ran a wheel and was open, but there was pressure and it wouldn't have been hit. But he got open, and he did a good job getting open versus Xavier Howard. Like stemmed him, got inside, held his line, and then broke inside. And it looked to me, based on how Davis, when he tried to break, like he like tripped or kind of fell. It looked like Howard was holding him, so that was a good play. But other than that, there's two other plays where I didn't really love them. The one play on a slant, it was a really bad slant break. I broke it down in that review, but he just wasn't assertive enough with holding his line. Like he kind of patty caked and then let Howard just play right over top of him and didn't really fight him physically, physically get into him before he broke. And it was kind of like a lazy route. Didn't like that. And then deep down the field, they have like a tight bunch, and I think it was a tight bunch, and he ran a seam route versus Tampa 2, and Flacco threw the ball up to him between the safeties. He gets both hands on the ball and drops it. You got to catch that ball. It wasn't an overthrow. It wasn't anything. It was a perfect ball. Hit his hands. Now, yes, did he get hit out by a Dolphins defender? Sure. But you're getting paid $12 million a year, and you want to be that number one. I've been saying it since he was signed, and you'll agree with this. He's a low end number one, a high end number two, and that's what people are coming to realize he is right now. But at the same time, with that being said, the ball's in your hands. You have two hands on it. You got to have enough grip strength to pull that ball in and tuck it. And he kind of laid the ball out there too, like you want to see that quick tuck and just let your body absorb the blow. And he kind of held it out there a little bit, got swatted. So put him in the negative category. It wasn't a massive negative, but he wasn't great this game.
That's definitely like, he's had some really like very bad drops this year, like some balls that like, there's no way you should drop that type of ball on like, simple little dig in routes over the middle. That ball that he dropped, that is a tough catch. And like, even the fact that he was able to get up and position himself the way he did was pretty impressive, but just fucking secure the catch, man.
Yeah. The body control was nice, but you got to catch it.
Yeah.
And I'm not one of those guys like, oh, it hits your fingertips, you got to catch the ball, because that's bullshit. But when it hits both your hands and you have both your hands on the ball, you got to catch that ball.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. There was some other type of vertical route he was running this game. And when I was watching it, like, I don't know if it was the same route that you were talking about where he looked lazy, but like, I think it was Xavier covering him, and he was completely blanketed, and it looked like he was running a lazy route.
It was a slant. He was talking about, so it wasn't vertical.
Okay. No, I'm not talking about a slant, but I didn't see him getting a lot of separation this game. Like, he was pretty fine. Like, after he caught balls, his transition into the run after the catch and breaking some tackles and that was fine, but I wasn't seeing a lot of separation, and I wasn't seeing a lot of great route running this game from him.
No.
And like you pointed out,
like, he was held. He was held on the one, but
okay.
Yeah.
And the drop, man, like it drops in ball security. It's something that's literally popping up like almost every week with this guy. And let's take our weekly moment to shit on PFF, man. So like you were just talking about how he's a low end number one, high end number two. Well, if you look at his PFF grade at the end of last year, he was one of the best wide receivers in the league, according to PFF. And it just shows how that grading system can be extremely misleading.
Well, let's talk about PFF in a little bit. I definitely want to talk with them a little bit. Right. What do you think about Elijah Moore, who was rated very highly by PFF?
Yeah, and rightfully so, right? Yeah, no, he's definitely, the kid is legit, man. And, so who was it? Matt Collins was the safety who was kind of like, he was in the box and he kind of rotated pre-snap, but he rotated to the deeper half of the field outside. So, and then he had to flip around to try to catch Moore, and he had the angle on him, but Moore, you could just see Moore pulled away with that speed. And like,
I'm talking about the
I'm talking about the long touchdown too. Like,
okay.
not only was the the route really impressive to get the separation. Was that Jones covering him, or was that
Jones.
a different corner?
Jones.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, I saw Elijah Moore post on Instagram like an Allen Iverson crossover.
Yeah,
it
was
like
really nice. It was really, really, really nice. I call it a skip step. He skip stepped, and they did a really good job. Which again, not eating up too much cushion, but eating up enough where he got him on his heels a little bit. Skip step, hard jam or hard fake outside, elbow jam.
He's doing a really good job selling his eyes to the. So like, if you're running a route and you're faking that you're going one way, you got to sell it. And if you're not, if your eyes are where you're actually going to go, it's not going to work that well. But like, he's doing a really good job, like selling it, like flashing his eyes outside before he actually does go inside.
His stems are really, really good too. His acceleration's really, really good. He had a couple of really good routes this game. The body
control, the one towards the end of the game where, it was kind of like a back.
Oh, he plucked it.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot that. I feel like I forgot putting that on my review because I remember that play. I don't remember talking about it a couple hours ago. Yeah, he plucked that. It was like I definitely forgot that. Yeah, it was like a fade, and he did a really good job plucking it, getting outside leverage. He had another. He had a lot of really good routes, and I broke it down.
He had a toe tap on the sideline one play,
which was a bullshit OPI. That was an OPI, right?
Yeah, and he's still.
Dude, that was such bullshit.
I'm not talking about the OPI. No, there was defensive pass interference on that play, the one I'm talking about, where he toe tapped, but the Jets declined it, and they still. That was a
reception on the sideline.
Yeah,
toe tap. I thought it was an OPI.
No, he got an OPI against the Bills.
Yeah, on the left sideline on the push off. That wasn't okay. So in the review, I referred to it as an OPI. So it wasn't an OPI. That was I talked about it regardless, but that was a really, really nice route. Too, with like a push by. It was awesome.
And dude, even in the red zone, man, when the orbit motion, he caught, like, he's really, really good. Like my favorite attribute is just like how quickly he transitions from catch to run. And because dude, when you're talking, like, obviously you're not really faking a lot of people out when you're that close to the line of scrimmage, but it's just about what little fraction of a second can you get to get that extra little bit of separation in that part of the field. And like, he catches the ball so fluidly and runs, and he was able to get a lot of, yards after the catch. Like, if you put someone like Jeff Smith to catch that ball, or you put any running back to catch that ball, they're not going to get the amount of yards that he's getting. He was really, really, really good in this game, man.
There was a, I'm trying to look at the play right now. There was another really, really nice. Even the play where he was held on, where he wasn't a hold. That was a really nice route, like really nice pacing, where he beat Byron Jones. And that should have been a defensive pass interference. I realize now that the one was a DPI, not an OPI, which is my fault. I thought it was. I didn't. If it was a DPI, I'm sure obviously was. It was a soft one. They were super, super soft with their pass interferences this game. The refs, which, again, the refs fucking up is nothing that we're shocked about. But
dude, the refs have been so horrible against the Jets this year. I know we're homers and every team kind of thinks.
No, they were bad against the Dolphins in this game though too. It was bad.
But it's been a weekly occurrence with the Jets though, weekly. And yeah. I know that I know I'm a homer, but I could say this more so than other years. This is not a hot takey thing. I'm not gonna pat myself on the back when I'm right about this, but I know I have a very strong feeling that I'm gonna be right about this. Watch Corey Davis's stats in the coming weeks start to explode, because teams are going to start to key on more and more. Teams are going to get scared of this guy now. So this is going to open things up in coverage for Corey Davis. And I think you're going to see Corey Davis start to have some high yardage games, maybe a touchdown or two in a game here or there. So, yeah.
Yeah, there's another route I think that I broke down that was really, really nice. He wasn't targeted or something like that. But he had a really, really nice game. Now, with Moore, do you think he could be legit number one?
I told my barber the other day, I said, watch, man, like, this guy's going to be like a legit wide receiver one option in fantasy in like the coming years, man.
There you go.
Yeah. No, I mean,
the last couple of weeks he has been.
So the only thing what's the only knock on him? Like, okay, his blocking, and he's short. Other than that, but I mean, okay. Like
coming out of Ole Miss, he worked into a lot of space and you want to see him get off a press, but, and there was a route I broke down last week where you want to see him take a little bit tighter angles to stack guys and use his hands a little bit better. Like, He tends to really widen himself out a little bit instead of like holding that line and being more aggressive with his angles. But that comes with him learning how to route run against press coverage in the NFL because those guys are quick, fast, and stronger than he is. So like he has to learn a little bit to get off press. But other than that, like that comes with time. That's not a knock on him. That's going to be carried over because he's such a good route runner in every other aspect that he's going to learn how to do that cleanly. It's not bad. I'm just saying it's an area that could definitely be.
I did see some improvement with hand and arm usage in this game. There was one route where he was taking kind of a vertical stem, and I'm not saying that he had like great hands off the line of scrimmage where he swatted the DB's hands away, but you see him like, so he's so quick and fast that like he gets vertical on the D-back, and then he wipes his arm over him. Like, so you see him kind of wiping the arm over, and then he stacked him after that. So you are starting to see him growing a little bit with that too, in terms of using his hands.
Are you talking about the play that he plucked that ball on third down?
I can't remember what happened at the end of the route, but I do remember like watching, okay, there's a little subtlety like you're starting, because that's something I wanted to see a little bit more of in college.
When you don't do it in college, you come to the NFL, press is hard to get off of. He just has to learn how to do it. While he doesn't want to necessarily run routes like Corey Davis or Mims, like he needs to take more aggressive angles and understand that defeating like that containment punch, like the corner trying to like slingshot to get back in on it. If he chops down an arm, he could stack much easier than just completely avoiding contact and running completely around the guy instead of kind of going through him off balance. Like he needs to learn that. But other than that, like there's not much. Like he had a good yak play. Now, I'm not talking about the rush was, listen, like he got a ball, it was wide open, he ran, he got tackled. Like it wasn't anything crazy. And there was another play, like a 25-yard catch I even put up because it was nothing crazy. But the yak play where it seemed like Flacco.
It was like a comeback or a sit, a deep comeback or a sit.
No, it was just the smoke on like 2nd and 10, and Flacco hits him. Okay. And he runs for like 9 yards, and it's like 3rd and 1 now instead of obviously 2nd and 10. But he broke a tackle, like that was nice. Like dude, Moore is legit, and like he's not tall enough to be a number one. Like there's plenty of number ones. Tyreek Hill, Antonio Brown's bigger than Hill, but like there's plenty of guys out there.
Here's the difference. All right, so obviously both of those guys are really legit number ones. I mean Tyreek Hill has got just insane speed, and like he's insane with the ball in his hands. And Elijah is not that good with the ball in his hands, but Elijah is a better route runner. I would say he's a better catcher. He's a better pure wide receiver than in terms of natural skill set than Tyreek Hill. I mean, obviously there's a lot that he still has to prove. I mean, Tyreek Hill is already making a borderline Hall of Fame career for himself. Antonio Brown is super physical. Really good route runner and stuff, but Moore has more natural speed, more natural quickness.
He's a better athlete than Antonio Brown. Yeah.
So like, I mean, like if both of those guys who are a little bit small in stature could have, true number one wide receiver status, Hall of Fame career status, and Moore has some attributes that those guys don't have, there's no reason why he can't be a legit number one.
Somebody asked, would you rather sign Marcus May?
Golden still prime T.Y. Hilton. He can be better than prime T.Y. Hilton. I mean, T.Y. Hilton was a 4th round guy from a small school. T.Y. is smart, really smart route runner.
There are so many subtle differences between players. Like to me personally, I don't love player comparisons because there's such little differences. Like I haven't watched T.Y. Hilton enough to know if T.Y. did he bow his route out too much, or did he take those straight lines and talk about with more. So like, while guys might be same in stature or same in like, they're quick, but they're not big, but they have good hands. Like there's so much nuance that goes into every single route that I can't compare guy to guy. Like I don't like doing that with any position really. I don't like comparisons, but
yeah, no, because no, every player is unique in their own regard too.
Nobody's the same. Nobody.
And people, I did see a lot of people on Twitter. Maybe I shouldn't say a lot. I saw several people saying, "Oh, my pre-draft comparison to Moore was Antonio Brown," and I didn't get that one. I just don't see that. They're quite different players.
I don't do comparisons.
They're both very good. Yeah.
I just don't. Yeah, Antonio Brown's a tiny bit bigger, and I would say like his route running is elite, and that's what made him really good. Where Moore was a really, really good route runner, but his athleticism really took him over the top as well. So like they're different players. Everybody's different players though. I don't like comparisons. I just don't. I'm not a big fan. Yeah, like OBJ. Like OBJ is a little bit bigger and has a insane catch radius. Like he's longer than Moore. So they're like I get it, but you could compare what's the difference between like if I really ask, okay, what's the difference between TY and Brown and OBJ? Like, oh well, like you really have to get into it. Footman Moore is meh. Yeah, that is not smart. But somebody Friggled. Oh yeah, Pylo Sale, whatever. 3. I'm just home 3. Would you rather sign Marcus May to $5 million for 1 year or draft Kyle Hamilton? One, they're going to come after one another, so you have to decide to sign Marcus May before you draft Hamilton. You don't know if he's going to be there. I would say in general, if you're talking about like, okay, sign Marcus May to a $5 million deal, and then you have Kyle Hamilton sitting there at 3, along with Hutchinson and Evan Neal, then okay, yeah, take one of those guys and sign Marcus May, but like that they're coming so far after each other, it's not like you're making a choice either or. Like I don't have enough context to that. Who are the other safeties available in free agency? Who's available in the draft? Like that's such a
that's not a very good question.
One or the other, I guess May, because I'd rather have the other options. But what if Hamilton's sitting there at 6 and he's better than every single buddy on the board by far? Then you draft him too, and you sign Marcus May because free agency is in March and the draft is at the end of April, so like I don't know.
And then if you signed May to a 1-year deal, and you ended up drafting Hamilton, you're totally fine with May walking at the end of the year. You don't got to think twice about it.
Yeah, Jesse Pace would be cool. Snoopy says Moore reminds me of a young Santonio Holmes. Like, okay, Santonio Holmes versus Antonio Brown versus T.Y. Hilton. Like, what's the difference between all those guys? They're all similar stature. They're all relatively the same athletically, kind of, but different. Like, I don't know. Hutchinson is meh. Yeah, I don't know about Hutchinson. But okay, we gloated over Moore. We have to hit the receivers. We'll keep hitting the chat a little bit. K Delgado, Meshison. That's how I like that. I like that. How are we expecting Zach play? We'll talk about that in a little bit too, Andrew. But we have to hit the offensive line because we're not into the offense, and I can go a little bit over 8, but offensive line. Thoughts?
Let's just say this, man. This offensive line, not acting like they're great or anything like that, but they're so much better than the offensive lines of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago. I mean, like, geez, like they're like the future, especially if Joe Douglas continues to emphasize the offensive line and continues to draft well on the offensive line, the future is definitely bright. And especially if Becton can, stay healthy and stuff. But yeah, I know they did play well, man. George Fant, like, dude, you could tell he's kind of feeling his oats and feeling like he's playing well, because I saw him tweet like, "Hey, vote me for the Pro Bowl." Like he's confident in the way he's playing, man. And
that's why he pissed me off last week, not this week. Last week when he got beat, and then
he got beat, and instead of helping his player up or defending,
he got like pissed and like walked past and like cursing at himself or whatever. I was like, "What are you doing, bro?"
Yeah, but he's been pretty solid overall. Moses is Moses, which is pretty solid. I wish I should have really kept a closer eye on what are people calling the new guard? LDT? Is that the nickname they're calling him?
Yeah, I want to hit on that a little.
So I want to hear your thought. I want to hear your thoughts, because punching myself in the head, I didn't watch him as closely as I should have. I should have really honed in and focused on him, and I didn't.
So Elijah Moore reminds me of a combo of Julio Jones and Randy Moss. Dan Orlovsky said that. I don't know if he did. If he
wait,
did,
what did he say? Wait, he's a combination of who?
Randy Moss and Julio Jones. If you
really talking about Elijah Moore?
If he really said that, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
He needs to be immediately fired if he said
that. Yeah. Maybe he ran out of the back of the end zone because of some brain damage. I don't know. So, and people will like automatically equate, I think, the offensive line play last week with being bad because they blitzed a lot. But in reality, they played pretty well in the run game. The pass game, they really weren't bad. Fant, I thought was solid. I thought Moses was okay. McGovern had a play or two where I was like, AVT has a lot of really good plays, but then there are some mental lapses in terms of like picking up stunts and how long to to stick on like the picker or the penetrator. He had one of those plays this week where he gave up pressure, but overall, ABT has been an absolute stud.
And the thing about that too is like, you have to pretty much attribute that to rookie mistakes too, because there are also those moments of brilliance too, where like, he kind of senses like, oh, I have to get my hands on both people because I'm not gonna, or like the one play in the Bengals game where Mike White had the touchdown to Berrios. Like there's those things like that, and AVT was very, very good at passing off stunts in college. So like that's something that I am not worried at all about for the future.
And it's just lapses too, because like he had multiple plays, and like even this game, he had a play where he picked up 2 guys on a stunt. That was really good. He had to play against the Bengals where he picked up 2 guys, allowing Mike White to throw that touchdown. He had to play against the Colts where he picked up 2 guys, allowing, I believe, Mike White to throw a seam ball. I forget exactly what it was, but that was another nice play. Like or maybe it was Flack. I forget exactly what the play was. Like AVT's been playing really, really well. He has some lapses. He's a rookie, but in terms of him being worth the trade up, undoubtedly, I think 100% of Jets fans, well, nothing's ever 100%. 90% of Jets fans watching right now are thinking that trade is good. Like, what is Wyatt Davis doing right now, or whoever else people wanted? But again, you have a guy rated that high, you get him, and he's been an absolute stud.
Imagine you didn't get him. Who'd be your guard right now? Who'd be your left guard right now for the Jets?
Wyatt Davis. And to say that Wyatt Davis is as good as him, like it's like, again, say it all the time. The problem with mock drafts and people just filling positions is player X equals player Y. When they don't, you're not just filling positions. You're trying to get the highest talent at that position. So Wyatt Davis filling left guard and ABT filling left guard are completely different, but people, again, they want to fill those holes. So having the 2 seconds or whatever the hell it was is more important than having ABT, who's been an absolute stud this year. He's been the best, I believe. There's something else I'm thinking about.
Who missed most of training camp and stuff.
Yeah, in preseason, and he's been by far the best rookie guard that I can think of off the top of my head, and one of the best offensive linemen in the draft class. And in terms of guards overall, his pressure numbers are really, really good. So that trade up was worth it. I'll get to the stuff in the chat in a little bit. And this is where
not according to Seth Walder, the analytics guy.
Some people talk about the LAT thing. We're asking about it. I know that PFF gave him like an 18 or something like that, like one of the worst grades I've ever seen for the offensive line.
Really?
And
an 18?
I believe it was terrible. Somebody can tell me in here, I'm sure. It was absolutely terrible.
I've never seen an 18 grade before from them.
I'm pretty sure it was like bad. I don't really know the rankings. I know it was like low, whatever it is. With that being said, them having a really low grade is one of the worst grades I've ever seen in my entire life, because LDT was actually, like, considering the situation, considering how they got him, he was impressive to me this game. Like,
I thought he was an improvement over Van Roten.
Undoubtedly, he played at an average to slightly above average level. And you'll see that in the breakdown, Kyle. Aggressiveness. He has good balance.
Yes. I saw that.
He has good power. He passed off stunts pretty well. The one play that I know there was one play he was beating it up with pressure. Happened. Okay. And then there was the one play where he allowed a sack. I'm assuming that he allowed a sack for them. But what happened was it was a stunt, and McGovern turned his body too much to the left side. So he had to hold the picker, for longer than he wanted to. And then he tried to push off the penetrator and drop his post and get to the looper. But because McGovern didn't pick it up, he had to hold it for an extra second. And could he have dropped off of it a split second sooner? Sure. So was a sack allowed on him? Like, technically, yes. But if McGovern played it just okay, he would have picked up the looper. So, like, yeah, bad play by him. But really, like, yeah, he gave up a sack, but all sacks given up aren't equal.
And here's another thing you have to consider with something like that too. So McGovern and Van Roten have been playing side by side with each other for.
I'll just pull up that play just so you can see it, Kyle.
Yeah,
I'm not
sure.
Break it down just because I've explained it and you know what you're watching. Especially, I explained it already. So, like,
let me look at
just real quick. So, like, yeah, he had a bad game, like it, but did he really? You know, is that 100? Like you see, what I'm talking about. Like, what is McGovern doing here? So he's in a tough spot because now does he let the penetrator just get right through, you know, the immediate threat to the quarterback, or does he have to stick that a little bit longer because McGovern played it poorly? Now he has to drop his post and get to the looper late, where if McGovern was to play this better, not commit his hips completely outside, which is a bad move, then he could drop off quicker and match that guy. But, like, there was plenty of, dude, he had I don't have.
Wait, can I comment
consistently.
can I comment on that quickly? Here's another thing you have to consider. So Van Roten and Van Rotten, that's my nickname for him. So he and McGovern have played what 20 something, almost 30 something games side by side with each other now over the last 2
play,
seasons.
by the way?
I obviously saw it, but I want to. Oh yeah, of course.
All right.
Yeah, that's nice. So, but like LDT's been with the team for a couple of weeks now, so there's so much communication with offensive linemen about like how long you're going to stick on something in this protection and stuff, and when you're going to pass people off and stuff. So that communication is only going to get better in time, and there's so much more room of improvement with their level of communication and gelling with each other, because they're just still kind of getting that. Whereas Van Roten and McGovern, it's in terms of their communication and synergy with each other, it's probably already maxed out already. So like, something like that, that's not a lack of athleticism or lack of play strength right there would cause that sack. It was just kind of like a lack of communication type thing.
Yeah. So, people just watch this one, Kyle, too. This is the one I probably gloated about the most. I talk about this one for probably 4 minutes in my review. I don't want to do it again.
Wow.
But this, I don't know if you noticed this play, but this, just watching him is like probably an elite play. It's an elite play. This is an elite play. From his just the eyes aspect and knowing his assignments aspect. I just watch. It is really, really good, and it's going to look so small and so stupid to so many people out there. But you'll get it. It's awesome. Dude, like little stuff like that. Like, and I'm not going to do what I did in the full review, but steps inside because they're slotting inside, eyes on the linebacker to see if the linebacker is going to press up towards him. That be his assignment. He's also slotting inside because there's a zero tech. He's that now he notices in the flash of his eye. Now there's a guy coming into the B gap, picks him up, doesn't fully commit because he knows there might be somebody else. While he's doing that, he checks the second level, sees he's looking at the linebacker. Okay, now if he's going to blitz, I got to pick him up. He's not blitzing. Okay, focus on his guy. Now he notices a looper. Now he picks up the looper. Oh, he had a terrible game. Like, what?
Yeah, let me comment on this for a moment. All right, let's time to shit on PFF yet again. All right, so here's my problem. I know that PFF in their grading system, they have certain things like, oh, if a quarterback makes a quote unquote big time throw, that'll count as like a extra points in their grading system than like an average good throw. But do they have something similar for like linemen, which I don't think they do, because like a play like that on that particular play,
yeah,
he stopped two guys that could have fucked up that play. Right. So in their grading system, when a player makes a really, really good play, and this is something I said a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about a Linderbaum play, do you have something that can really kind of bump his grade up for making like a really good play? I don't think they do.
No, I'm pretty sure their system is just like a 2, a 1, or a 0.
Yes,
that's not enough. They're bad. They're just bad.
Here's one thing I noticed about him that was pretty impressive with me. I saw a couple times him get on linebackers like Jerome Baker and maybe even who's the other guy?
He's got strong hands.
Landon Roberts. And when he got on the linebackers, he did a really good job, like as you said, staying balanced and really kind of staying inside the numbers and maintaining that inside leverage. You know, like Van Roten has this kind of like Van Roten sometimes will like he has a kind of like a propensity to kind of like hook guys and kind of grab them wide. He plays with like really wide arms all the time. Yeah. But this guy, he was really like compact and staying inside, which, you know, when you get to the second level like that and things are more out in the open, you're more likely to get a holding call because the ref can see it a little bit easier. So you got to kind of be careful when you get to the second level like that. And linebackers are more nimble and stuff too, kind of ducking around people. So that impressed me.
They said he gave up 7 pressures. 7. I saw maybe 2 or 3, like a sack and maybe 2 or 3 pressures, but again, and all pressures, all sacks, all hits given up are not the same thing. And they're terrible. And watching that game, he was, again, do I watch as closely to one player when I'm watching the entire game? No, I like when I do a play review, I watch every single rep of mostly every single game. When I watch the players, I try to focus on a lot of things. So sometimes a play will slip, but overall,
when you're watching, and I know that you probably do the same thing as me, you're watching, okay, what's the play? Okay, so what's the scheme? What's the concept that the Jets are running on offense? What's the coverage that the Dolphins are running on defense? Like what's the protection? What is this player doing? What is this player like?
What stands out? Yeah.
There's so many different things you're looking at. So, and here's another question I have about PFF, and I honestly don't know this. I know they have a lot of people working for them. Do they assign like, okay, Jeff, today you're doing the Dolphins Jets games, and I want you to focus on the left guard and the left tackle. Okay. And Tim is going to do the center and he's going to do the right guard. And like those guys, like they just watch those players and that's all they're focused on. Okay. If they were doing that and they were like literally focusing on like one player every play, like maybe I could give them some credence, but I can't, you can't tell me that they're hiring some jagoff straight out of high school and he's watching every single player in the game multiple times, replaying the play, and he's got a really formed opinion. Like,
and even assuming that, does he even know what the fuck he's talking about?
Yeah.
No way. And the fact that their grading system's like so like 1 or 2 or 0, or I think it's like I think it's a -1, 0, or a 1. So are all 1 plays the same? Is a decent play a 1 where a great play is a 1? Like, or is it like a +1 1? Like it's like I'm not about it. I'm for them. Okay. Let's say we sign whoever, Jim Johnson next year, and you're like, oh, I'm curious if they played more outside or inside in the
former
in the
defensive
slot.
Coordinator.
Whatever. Your son and fucking Rusty Spooner. Did he play more snaps on? Is it inside corner or an outside corner? Oh, PFF. Okay, he played more inside. Okay, fine. Other than that, their grades, I couldn't give 2 shits less. I don't. They suck. Their high grades are terrible. Their low grades are terrible. The fact that LDT was so people are saying. He's a 17 grade, charged with 7 pressures and pass protection. 17, I guess, but he's like a 50 grade, so good in run and bad in pass. But 17 grade in pass pro, you're crazy. There's no way. PFF is equivalent to the view. Yeah, PFF is garbage. And I will stand by that. I don't care if they have 1 or 2 smart film guys on the site because they don't do the work clearly. At least on the Jets, or a lot of the grades I see, DeJuan Landry being like a top 3 safety that 1 year, and 8, what's his name, LDT having a bad grade this game is crazy. Because was he great? No. Was he okay to solid? Yes. Like he I don't know what the grading system is, but like I'll give him like a B-. What's their grade as a B-? I don't know. He's like a B-, which coming in for your first game after getting traded, only having 2-ish weeks to gel with your team is a solid grade. I was happy with him, but not to go too much on that. Want to move to the defense, or is there anything else on the offense?
He was definitely like, you noticed like, wow, okay, this is definitely an upgrade over Van Roten. There's no question about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
that's
which is because Van Roten was like and it just kind of show you how one guy can really kind of derail your whole offensive line. Like if one guy is fucking up play in, play out.
But you can't draft the guard that high, Kyle, because it doesn't matter as much as tackle.
Yeah. So, I mean, like he could so it's, it's sad that Zach's coming back and Michael Carter, who's kind of finally hitting his stride, he's not going to be in this game. But, it is kind of promising to see that Zach isn't going to have Van Roten fucking things up in front of him.
Snoopy said, once I heard PFF tools say that momentum is not a real thing, does not affect football games, and then that told me all I need to know about them and their ratings. And said again, maybe it doesn't affect. Okay. I don't know if they did say that. Again, it's probably because they've only played Madden and it doesn't affect momentum. They probably never played sports because momentum's 1,000% a thing in basketball and football and hockey and everything. Momentum's a thing. Thanks for the shout out, Joe. Rusty. Yeah, I saw what's his name, Friegel D in here say hi to. What's up, Friegel? Yeah, Rusty, we're signing you as a slot corner next year. So get ready. You better. I don't know how your Thanksgiving was, but you better not have taken a lot of calories on. So GVR was unfortunately the worst player on offense, dude. Like again, you can have 5, 6, 7 guys on a run play, do it well, but then you have GVR blocking back to a 1 tech on an inside run on a power. And he gets blown up, and it blows up the whole play when 6, 7 other guys blocked well. It's like you need a lot of good offensive linemen. Now, does everybody need
Did
to
he do that in a Patriots game? Didn't he do that in one of the Patriots games?
I got so pissed.
Dude, you were so pissed in your review talking about that. You were in fumes.
Was it the Patriots? No, was it the Patriots game? Because I remember
I feel
bringing
like
it
it
up.
was one of them, but I could be wrong.
I remember bringing that up on. Hold on, it might. I hope it's not. Maybe it's this one. Yeah.
It was a Patriots game.
Yeah, it's this play. I'm not gonna do it again, but I was furious in that review. This is the play I'm talking about. He's fucking terrible. Dude. Like, what are you doing, getting flat like that? Like, all you have to do, and I think I said it in the review for people who didn't watch the review. I think I said somebody like an amputee would be better than him right here, like a double amputee, and the arms would be better, because all he had to do was step vertically. That's all he had to do. You step vertically to get horizontal. You don't step horizontal when you're blocking back on a play going opposite. You just don't do it, and he does it all the time. He's just so damn bad. Oh God, I remember that review. I remember the live stream. I remember now. It's just, he sucks.
And there's no way that the coaching staff can be teaching that there.
The one thing that they have to be teaching, and I brought it up, I think the last review is
you did the last review.
Way too many punches with the inside arm. I hate that, and I've always hated it, and they're doing it more than I've ever seen ever. So they have to be teaching it because it sucks.
And I agree that they have to be teaching it. Otherwise, why would you see multiple linemen doing it multiple times every game? So my question then is because I can't come up with a rationale as to why they would be teaching that. What do you think is the rationale, logic behind it?
For me personally, I don't know, because I hate it. I've never liked it. So it has to be a philosophy thing, and he thinks it works better with this or that. But I hate it so much I couldn't give you a good reason. I really have to sit down and like think about that more, like why they might be teaching that. But I could tell you that 9 out of 10 times I watch it, it doesn't work. It locks you. It's bad. But moving on.
The only thing I could think is like, oh well, we feel like maybe we can get contact earlier if we shoot this arm as opposed to that one. And
yeah, but that still would make sense because it's the inside versus the outside arm.
I know. Well, yeah.
And if you like maybe like because like the only thing I could think of was like, okay, if you land that hand, you really got your guy locked up, because then your outside hand can follow, and he's really like kind of like stymied. But the problem with it is, if that arm is beat, if you miss, you're fucked on the inside, on any inside move or move away from that punch. So it's like so bad. But we've been talking about offensive line for a little bit. People are probably falling asleep.
Yeah, but no, seriously though, one moment. For the people who aren't a member to the Jets X Factor website, like these little subtle things, if you're wondering why this guy gets beat often and why this lineman sucks and why PFF is wrong about this player, you get a lot more of this from checking out some of the great articles that other writers like Andrew are writing, but Joe Blewett's film reviews, multiple hours worth of every game. JetsXFactor.com and get the first month free.
Yes,
subscribe.
True. Thank you, Kyle. That's another point about LDT. They traded him for Dan Brown, and he just got cut last week. Dan Brown, they just signed Dan Brown back.
Really?
It's hilarious. Yeah, he got cut. So he got LDT for free. It's like crazy. I was going to answer a question about fantasy football. Somebody asked up here, Friggle. Okay, so Friggle D said, again, I don't know who these guys are playing. In fantasy, he has CD.
I wonder if the Jets are going to pick Dan Brown up again. I wouldn't be surprised.
You'd think so. CD, Elijah, Bateman, Muff, and Claypool to fill 2 spots. I'm assuming this week.
Wait, who? Bateman, Claypool, and who's the other person?
It says Bateman, Elijah Moore, Claypool, CD, but isn't CD injured? I don't know if he's helped, and he just played. So CD's not there. You can't play CD.
So wait, CD who? CD?
I'm assuming CD Lamb if you're saying CD.
Oh.
But then you have Elijah Moore.
Definitely
Bateman,
Elijah Moore.
Moore. But the problem is with him, you could say, okay, well, Zach Wilson didn't target him as much. So then you have Bateman, Muth. I don't know who M-U-T-H. It's not a name. You screwed up your spelling. And Claypool.
You have to wonder, is Lamar going to be back this week? He didn't play last week.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he would be. So he was like right on the teeter of playing. So I would probably say Moore and Bateman, because Bateman's. But I don't know.
I would go with Claypool over Bateman.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know how Claypool's been doing this year, to be honest. I don't know who Muth is.
I do have him in your dynasty league. He has his on and off games in terms of
fantasy. Was that you last? Did I absolutely smack you? 2 weeks ago?
No.
I beat whoever I played last week by 100.
No, not me.
In the dynasty, I scored like 230 because I had Eckler and I had Jonathan Taylor.
In the one league, I did have not the dynasty, but I guess it's the other league. CD
Corey Davis. Sorry, when I see CD, I think of CD Lamb.
Well, Well, that's C-E-E-D-E-E-C-D.
If people really want to
See,
spell the full thing. So
elongated.
so Corey Davis in that? I would probably say Corey Davis just based on Zach Wilson's history with Corey Davis in terms of targeting him. That's not a bad start.
Like I did say, you're going to start to see teams start to key on more and roll coverage his way more. So I think that's going to open things up for Corey Davis, but it might take teams a couple weeks to adjust to more though. So I would still play more. Look at him. He's putting up touchdowns almost week in, week out. They're starting to give him some carries and stuff too. Now you got to start more. That's for sure.
I remember against the Bills, there's a play where he just stopped blocking. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, he's bad. It's all about the O-line and D-line in 22. Back then, loss and returns, both for front. Yeah, dude, like Jets should be competing next year, like legitimately competing, I believe. Not like for a Super Bowl, but for a playoff spot next year, they should be in the race in November and December, based on how much capital they have to pour into the team, plus the guys are getting back from injury, plus Zach Wilson, plus the coaching staff all going into year 2 of development. Like they should be much better. Abraham Furnham, is John Benton a good coach? I don't know yet. They have better talent. They've been playing better. Some of the coaching stuff I don't love. The inside punching I do not love. But Corey Davis, yeah, I think that's a good start. Trey McBride is the tight end of the future. Hop on that film. I will if he's drafted. I think he's like a second or third round guy, so I'm not going to do that yet. But if he's drafted, 100%. Whoever we draft, I will do a review. UDFAs, I even did Isaiah Dunn, Rashid, and Yaboa this year, I think. So all the draft picks, you'll get them. I think he means Freiermuth, the Steelers tight end. Yeah, I know he's like a touchdown guy, so I'm going to get in the red zone a lot versus the Bengals. But moving on. Okay, defense. We're not going to take an hour and a half for the defense too, because can't do that. Defensive line. I would say overall, just quickly, JFM had his best game since he got paid. He got pressures, minus the stupid hit that he had.
He should. This offensive line sucks.
Yeah, Quinnen Williams, I know he only had like a tackle and a pass deflection, but he was really, really good this game. He had a sack that was obviously called back, but he was really good. Fadil Kasi made a couple of plays. The trap play I really didn't like for him. He was okay. Shaq Lawson, I thought, had a pretty good game. So
you thought so? I didn't think so.
He made more of an impact as a pass rusher than he has in a lot of recent weeks. Like the run game wasn't there, but he won 2 or 3 times in the pass rush department, which was okay. Q was all over the field. I don't care what I could give 2 shits less what his stats were. He was good this game. JFM got pressures. Other than that, you know who had a good game? His first good game like ever. Who actually, again, didn't watch him every single rep, but he stood out more than ever in a good way. Was Nathan Shepard.
Yeah, he did make some plays.
Yeah, and I was like, what the hell? Nathan Shepard.
Ronnie Blair definitely played better in this game than the last game, too.
Yes, yeah.
He was pretty bad against the Bills, but he showed a little something this game.
Yeah, I just have I'm not doing it. I'm just putting this play up. I'm not talking about it at all. But yeah, Shepard did he actually made plays this game, and he has a lot of raw power. The problem with his power
is the thing. Yep.
Yeah, it's very uncontrolled, his power. I'm not talking about this play in general. I'm just talking about it, from snap to snap. There's another play he made too. I just want to show the 2 plays where I was like, holy shit, Shepard's getting some stuffs. This one too. So we'll just watch him on first and third down. I'm not going to talk about it really at all. This is him here. This is blurry. I don't know why it was blurry when I recorded it. Shit. But yeah, this is first down right here. He got held. Again, how this is not a hold, I don't know, but it was a hold.
I mean,
pressure.
That is a dog shit no call right there. I mean,
yeah.
How can the ref miss that? It's why. I mean, there's no traffic. Right there. There's no traffic. That for you to miss that, you should be suspended for a game or something like that. Isn't
that? And then this is another play too that he made. So he's making some plays. This is another one. 2 plays later. So that was the sneak on 3rd and 1. Like, all right, Shepard. So if he could continue to make plays like that, that's great. What's up with Foley's tackling this season?
All right. So in terms of maybe most impressive out of guys you maybe weren't totally expecting, Kyle Phillips, he definitely,
his first game back, he had legitimately 2 or 3 really good plays. Phillips, Shepard, Q, JFM, the D-line played well this game. And obviously, again, they're playing lesser talent. And they produced like we wanted them to. So I was happy with the defensive line. I'll throw this question to you, Kyle, from K Delgado 62. What's up with Foley's tackling this season?
Has Foley's tackling been really bad? I can't think that like it's been really worse or something like that. I mean, like he's maybe missed a couple tackles here or there.
Yeah, I think it hasn't been as strong this year. And I think honestly, like to be really simple, but I think it's a simple problem is he's rushing up the field more and his weight's a little bit more forward. So he's not able to adjust the running backs as quickly. And he's kind of top heavy. So when guys like duck under him, he's not able to control himself as much. That's why.
And speaking of control too, another thing I'm noticing is like, sometimes when you play a little uncontrolled and you, as a defensive lineman, when you're rushing with your head down a little bit, you have a tendency to get put into the ground. Like if you're rushing with your head up, it's harder to get put into the ground. But if you rush, when you're trying to play football, low man wins. If you're keeping your head down, it's easier for a lineman to fall on top of you and just push you down. And Foley's been on the ground too many times this year for my liking, but I haven't really noticed a tackling problem per se.
Yeah, I don't think he means like tackling in terms of like actually getting hands on a guy. I think he means like in that like tackle radius, like he just not getting any plays. I could be putting words in his mouth, but that's how I take it.
The truth is like Joe said, he's been in more space this year. He's been playing a lot more 3-tech. Right. He's been doing less 2-gapping and stuff than in previous years. And that's just a guy, his stature and stuff, that's just not where he's as comfortable. Yeah. And you have to wonder, like, would that be the case if you had Carl Lawson and stuff? I don't know. Because how differently would they deploy their defensive linemen? I don't know.
I
think a lot of it's the scheme and Saleh consistently wants to have 4 defensive linemen on the field. Right.
Again, they need to change up the rotations. The fact that Q is playing like 61% of snaps and JFM is playing like 65.
I can't understand why Q is playing such a few amounts of snaps.
That like if you had an elite, if you had freaking like not even elite, like if you had like Ed Oliver behind him, sure, like play him 65, keep him healthy, like keep him rested. And the thing I don't like that to do is 1, they switch him out too much. 2, they have platoons, so it's like the starters versus the backups. It's like preseason,
And you notice that the Jets get gashed more when the backups are on the field.
Exactly, but you have to supplement. Like, okay, take Q out for Shepard this play. You still have Rankins and Foley in, but they just take out everybody. It's like a whole, which doesn't make any sense. It just does not make sense.
No,
in the NBA, you don't bench all 5 starters for all 5 backups. You put them in at different times. It's like crazy.
Yeah, if you did that, the team would have a big run on you, like a big scoring run. 20 straight points or whatever.
Yeah. That's it for the defensive line again. They were all really like I gushed over Phillips in that review. Phillips was good. So was Q. So they're all pretty good. Linebackers. I appreciate the Jets benching Jared Davis, who looks like a bust of a signing. And Mosley,
Quincy's been way more impressive than Jared. I haven't seen anything from Jared. Dude, you were so mad in that Bills from review on the Matt Breida touchdown. This is the worst play I've ever seen from a defense. Davis.
Oh yeah, they were bad, dude. Yeah, they were. That pissed me off, that play.
You were so serious too. Like, I kid you not, I've not seen a worse defensive play.
That and the play where he just falls on his face, like he fills and just falls on his face. I'm like, what? The tight end?
And you couldn't totally see everything, but it didn't really look like he tripped. I mean,
I don't think so.
Didn't look like his feet got caught up.
That one play that Q put up, like, and I put up on the review just to make fun of people because I'll do that. Like he bull rushed the guard, but really the guard tripped over the center. And like I know people put that up on Twitter. I guarantee it. I haven't seen it, but I guarantee people are like, oh my god, he bull rushed him. Look at this. He threw him back, and you look at it, and his foot gets stepped on. It's like, yeah, everybody falls. Like, what the fuck? I hate it. And there's like 2 or 3 people I think of specifically who I know put up that play, but is what it is. I highlight that.
I thought you just said you didn't see people do that.
I'm saying I didn't see people do that.
Oh, because you're assuming that these
because I don't follow whoever that might have been. Oh. But I see them retweeted, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Oh, okay.
Where is that play?
I didn't notice that. I don't even know who you're talking about. So
yes, you do.
Okay, I can maybe take some guesses, but I won't do that right now.
Okay, and this is the play I was talking about really quickly. So if anybody's seen this on Twitter and people are gloating about it, it's because they're trying to just get views. I'm pretty sure this is them. This is the play. Again, bull rush, great. He does a great job taking the chest, all this stuff. Just watch his inside foot.
Yep,
just watch his inside. No, right there. He gets tripped. That's why he eats shit. Like Q does a great job here, like bowling him backwards, but he literally gets tripped. So he falls. People are like, oh my god, look at this play. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up.
By the way, So sometimes Joe Blewett likes, and I like to talk about Kyle. You could make this throw right here. Listen, if I'm rushing against a guard that's 300 something pounds,
Well, you're not pushing him back at all like that to even get in that position. But you could.
I'm just saying, like, if his foot gets hooked like that, I might have a snowball's chance in hell to not.
Well, you're also like 220.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like
Yeah.
even like I'm a weakling compared to a guy like that. But like if he's if his foot is getting locked up like that, I might be.
When you were a kid, did you ever did you ever tabletop anybody? Like, you remember what that is?
Oh yes, okay. Definitely.
So could you push an offensive lineman and tabletop him?
Yeah,
maybe you could, maybe you couldn't. If it's Becton, you're probably not. He's probably not. But 300-pound guy, yeah, maybe. But moving on. So Quincy, I thought was good. Like his athleticism is absurd. Like how hard he is, absurd.
He's a sideline to sideline type of player. And he just fucking lays the wood on people.
And this game, he was a little bit better with his angles, and I thought he was a little bit more like decisive with filling and stuff like that. So he actually looked like legitimately good this week.
There's definitely, I can see for sure why the Jags drafted him in the 4th round. Like there's something to build on there too. And like, if the Jets can continue to mold him and teach him right, man, he could end up becoming a decent player.
I'm not answering guesses on this, but one of them got something. Whatever. Quincy Williams has been better. Like, so even in this game, like he had like 15 tackles, whatever it was. Like he did a pretty good job. He still did have 2 or 3 mental lapses that didn't show up because it didn't result in a bad play because he wasn't targeted, but he still has those 2, 3, 4 mental lapses, and other games is even more than that. So I think people see him flashing a lot on screen. They're automatically like, oh, we have our will linebacker next year. Yeah. Quincy has shown to me that he deserves to be and do not take this wrong at all. He has shown me that he deserves to be a role player on a linebacking core, but not a starter. Not yet. He has more development to do. Because I think, again, people see good, like a decent player on the Jets, and a decent player to us is great because we suck and we've sucked for a while. So you see a guy making flash plays. It's like, great. Does he deserve to start like on a good linebacking core right now? Would he start on a good linebacking core on other teams? No, he wouldn't. He'd be a backup. So he's shown that he's rosterable next year if we improve our linebackers, but he has to take steps mentally, just snap to snap, not blowing assignments to get there. Because again,
yeah, I mean, blown assignments in the NFL kill you. I mean, like if Quincy's supposed to carry a tight end or number 3 in the seam and he ends up in the flat, or he hesitates for a slight second and then they end up getting a 20-yard gain or something like that. Like that's killer in the NFL. That'll wreck your day. I mean, that's one of the main reasons the Jets lost this game, like blown coverages and stuff, like simple little things like carrying the guy deep third down the field and nobody's there. Like that fucking Mac Hollins catching a 60-yard touchdown. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah. So we got to easily Quincy's best game. Yes, it was. And Delgado also says, let's take Jared Davis and let's take Jared Davis and Jamie Sherwood and never see them start for the team ever again. Yeah. Davis is gone. I just can't see him rebounding. He was so abysmally bad. And again, watching that review, doing that review in the offseason, I say, okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't even make an NFL roster next year.
I see the physical traits. I said that. I see the physical traits, but his mental is not there at all. So maybe they develop him because it's Ulbrich and Salah, the linebacker.
Honestly, we haven't even really seen the physical traits this year. Like we saw some of that in Detroit, but like he hasn't flashed athleticism not once to impress me yet this year. And maybe he's still kind of like getting himself back from the ankle injury, and maybe he doesn't feel 100%. If that's the case, why did they rush him back? But dude, I mean, like you can see the explosiveness with Quincy. I haven't seen shit from. Yeah.
And the thing with him is like, and you can blame it on Joe Douglas because he signed him, but at the same time with Ulbrich and Salah having their backgrounds in linebackers, obviously they're going to consult on players. They saw him like, hey, this is the guy we want. And they signed. That's most likely what happened. And they signed him. And he's been a bust. But yeah, Sherwood, I am not high on Sherwood at all. I think his mental's overrated, and I think he's very limited for a linebacker athletically. Think Quincy continue fixing his issues. Yeah, more playing time. He can fix. And to me, from the first time he played versus this game, his mental was better for me. So that's a positive. He's taking steps in the right direction. So he's a role player on next year's team to me. with a chance to be a starter if he continues to improve. Joe Douglas needs to do better.
By the
in free
way,
agency.
Quincy's a good little case study. Like we have at this point, we were really souped up about the coaching staff and Robert Saleh, who many people saw as the number one coaching candidate. And yeah, we got him and we were surprised we did get him. But we're at this point in time, like we have a lot of question marks about this coaching staff, more than we had at the beginning of the season. And if they can mold Quincy, like both Ulbrich and Saleh, their long history of developing people into being good linebackers, if they can develop him, you know, a guy who was a 4th round pick who didn't make it with the Jags, if they can develop him into being a decent starter in this league, then that's going to say a good amount about this coaching staff. So we'll see.
Yeah. Snoopy says Joe Douglas needs to do better in free agency. While I agree that's his biggest weakness, like Carl Lawson not being here hurts. Vinny Curry not being here definitely hurts. LaMarcus Joyner being injured hurts. You know, people shit on him for Fant. A couple of years ago, I was the only person on Jets Twitter who was positive about Fant. And now people are saying how good he is, you know, so there are some positions where he's hitting on, but yeah, like, you know, Lawson being out, Joyner being out, like it sucks that they've been injured, but yeah, overall I would say, you know, I want to see him do more at linebacker. I want to see him do more at tight end. I want to see more at quarterback. I want to see more at kicker. Like there are some things I definitely will criticize him for. We'll talk about Zach in a little bit, Yoshi. Moving on to, and then after that, CJ Mosley, 1, looks slow right now. So I think he's still injured. He has to be. And 2, his mental's not there as much as it has been either. There's 2 plays specifically this game where I highlighted in the review where I'm like, what is he doing? Like, he's just not processing as much as he.
Which plays are you talking about?
The touchdown to the running back out of the backfield.
When Gaskin caught that, it was like kind of like a delayed little route up the middle, and then
it was like a sit that turned. It almost looked like a sit versus like an angle, but it wasn't an angle. Where he
I was like, his
super delayed on that. It's like there's no other threat there. Like, why not jump on that? So that was bad. And there's another play
that should not have been a touchdown.
And and then there was another
like he
play.
Should have caught the ball, but he should have been stopped well short of the goal line. And then I think it would have probably been fourth down. Was it
fourth down? That was on 3rd down. So that was bad. And then he had another play where it was a play I just put up of Quincy, where he just gets like he's just covering grass, like he's not finding the nearest threat. And I again go to the review and I'll break that down for you. So, Mosley not great. Now the safeties, Ashton Davis didn't play terribly, like he wasn't as bad as he's been in the past.
That interception's on Tua. It's not an Ashton thing.
No, that interception's from JFM. So he should thank JFM because there's a pressure and he overthrew it. But he was just going to the spot he's supposed to. Like it was nothing. It was a play that had to be made. It wasn't a plus play. It was an expected play. He made it. Okay, great. The other safeties, whatever. Anything else on the safeties? That's just not really. Davis was less bad than he's been in past. Like he was okay this game, which is a step up, I guess.
Yeah, and this Riley dude, I mean, like he filled.
Oh, and Mosley had that missed tackle, by the way, too. Terrible missed tackle.
Which tackle?
On the first touchdown drive, it was 3rd down, and he doesn't break down.
Yeah, and Ashton missed the tackle on that play too.
Yeah, but he's
fucking Patrick Laird.
He's been going high like the last couple of games. Like he just doesn't break down. He just tries to grab guys by their shoulders. Like he's not breaking down and not driving through guys. Like what is he? He has to be hurt. Mosley has to be hurt.
And by the way, this isn't the first time that we saw CJ Mosley looking slow while playing hurt. Remember when he came back from his groin injury 2 years ago, Pat's game, he looked, oh my God, was he a shell of his former self? So, I mean, maybe he's trying to push himself a little bit. And the crazy thing too, is it's like, God damn. Like, and I know players get injured more as they get later on in their career. Like your body doesn't recover as much and injuries start to build up and body parts never fully recover. But he never missed games when he was with Baltimore. He might've missed 1 game or something like that his whole career in Baltimore, 5 seasons. Yeah. And now he's, missing several games with the Jets.
Delgado, I'm pretty fair. I'm usually pretty fair with the refs. And even that play with the block in the back on Ashton Davis, it was right on the line of being a block in the back. Like it was right there, but it was like, I get either way in that call. And I want to do, it's not like I'm trying, like I don't have like, okay, I need to say this much negative stuff and this much positive stuff to maintain credibility. I call it how I see it. Like with Shepard and all these guys, like they have a good game. I call it out, but that block in the back was right there. The missed call on the Shepard was even worse than that one. But nonetheless, moving to safeties. Anything else that I'll get to. There's like a little bit of stuff.
I'm just saying, like this Riley dude. I mean, like he didn't stand out in a horrible way or anything like that, which is.
Thank you, Tua.
Yeah,
he's not good. I don't care what his stats are the last couple of games. I don't care what his. I'm not impressed.
I've never been impressed by him. I'll say that.
Corners.
Like one thing that people point out about Tua, and you could tell that the Dolphins do it a lot. Like he is good with like RPOs and like selling play fakes and stuff like that, and the way that he pulls when he decides to pull the ball and then throw, like he's got like a quick transition to throw. But I mean, like the dude can barely push the ball downfield.
Yeah. I'll get to the chat real quick before the corners. Booth LaFleur is a genius guy. He's been better. Sal needs to prove he's not a complete flake at this point. A flake. I don't like the coaching. Like, can they burn 2 timeouts with 9 minutes to go in the third quarter?
I was so mad about
8 minutes,
that,
7 minutes, whatever it was. Like, you can't do that. But at the same time, last week,
but you know what?
Saleh for not calling a timeout when it ran out.
What was it? This game or the Bills game? I think it was this game because I remember Flacco we got fucked over by the refs.
When?
The one ref, he's not letting Flacco snap the ball, and we're in the red zone until there's like 6-7 seconds left on the game clock. And Flacco, there was motion on this play. So by the time that Flacco was able to actually put the player in motion, we didn't have enough time to actually snap the ball. And then Flacco looks at the ref, they're like, you barely gave me any time to snap the ball. I think it was this game. I think it was this game.
I didn't notice that.
And we had to burn a timeout. That might have been the first half, though. We had to burn a time, but that's bullshit.
Like, I think people for like Salah, they put like too much on energy on the sideline. It's like it's such an overrated thing. Like, again, the way it goes is Bill Belichick, no energy. Oh well, he's composed. He doesn't care about anything. He looks great. Like that's what we'd be saying if he was winning with no energy. And you get the guy who's winning with energy. Oh, he's motivating his guys. But when they go negative, it's you can kind of bend it to whatever you want. Like Bill Belichick's composed, but because Salah's losing and he's not like energetic on the sideline. Like what? In this game, he was in the ref's face when Moore didn't get that holding call. Like he was in the ref's face a couple times.
I mean, I'm glad to be seeing a little bit more energy from him, but people,
sure, it's overrated though for sure.
People, I always think of my dad when we talk about something like this, because this is my dad. Like basically will judge how good he thinks a coach is based on that type of shit, pretty much solely.
So Bill Belichick is one of the worst coaches of all time.
And if I were to say that to my dad, he would not have a good response. But
ask him that next time.
There's a lot of no, I know I've done that to him before. I've literally asked him that question.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of people who kind of think that way too. Like, oh, he's got arms crossed on the sideline or whatever. It's like,
yeah, doesn't
mean
mean a little bit. Doesn't mean a little bit, but no, like come on. Snoopy says no tight end was criminal. I agree with that. Dalton Schultz to the moon. What's up, boy? Yeah, what's up, Jan? What's up, boys? Happy Thanksgiving. Just saw you went live and had to start from the beginning. Appreciate that. Watch it all.
Happy Thanksgiving.
I'm a Jets homer, so it's definitely a block in the back, though. God, I appreciate the honesty there. Muth is Fryermuth. Yeah. I wouldn't start. I would say Corey Davis and I guess Claypool. I would say in that matchup. Hard to get energized down 30 points. Yeah, Scott Wilson, I agree with that. Like you're down 54-14 in some of these games. Like, what do you want him to do? Like be like choke slamming guys through the bench? Like he's pissed. Like, what is he gonna say? Start yelling at guys? Like it's way overrated. Like it is way.
And by
overrated.
the way, and if you want him to start like yelling at your team, like yelling at players and laying
people will shit on Joe Judge for doing that.
Exactly. Here's the thing. Like, if you're getting blown out by like 30 something points in an NFL game, you have to understand like that shouldn't happen in the NFL week in, week out, because like, I understand that some teams are way more talented than others, but you still have professional athletes. If you're getting blown out like that by that much, that also says a lot about coaching, and players know that they should not be getting blown out like that week. So like, if you're yelling at your players, laying into them while you're down by 30 points, that's a good way to get your players to start to turn on you.
Yeah.
Your players will be like, hold on, you're fucking coaching us with this horrible game plan. And now you're going to yell at me.
Yeah. Scott Wilson, that was Rex problems. It
You.
gets old quick. Mike said I had the same conversation with somebody recently. Andy Reid is another. Nobody cares about how you do it, just win. But again, It's the problem with a lot of these analysts out here, or just talk radio or Michael Kay or whoever it is, who look at that stuff and say, oh, there's energy on the sideline. I think it's because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and they have 14 brain cells and IQ at football. So that's the only thing they could look at and be like, oh, well, that makes him a bad coach now, is his energy. Like, if he was winning without energy, people would be gloating about him, but he's losing without energy. So now it's different. Like, okay, Andy Reid, Bill Belichick, they suck. They don't have energy. Like, it's, again, like, yeah, Kyle, if we're losing by 40 points, I'm screaming at you on the sideline. Like, it's not going to build camaraderie. Like now do it.
It's like aesthetics and stuff. Like, too. I
looks like shit.
If people will judge a president based on what they say rather than like actually look at like specific policies and stuff.
Yeah,
too.
we can talk. Yeah,
so like,
yeah. I'm not gonna get into that, but yes. Somebody asked me a question about the NYPD before. I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm not even gonna do that. But yeah, energy is a way overrated thing that I think a lot of stupid people say. I'm sorry, that's just how I feel. It's just Bill Belichick has not have energy. End of the conversation. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say.
I mean, Belichick was like jogging on the field, like pre-game for like one of their recent games, and like everybody was making a big thing about, oh, Belichick, he's almost 70 and he's jogging.
Dude, like, again, like it's more about what you do. So like the fact that Saleh, did he have to scream at Jared Davis on the sideline the last game when he was playing terribly, or does benching him send a bigger message? Like, does screaming at a guy like that, like to me personally, I see guys screaming at people who do bad, I'm like, okay, that's like it's immature. To me, it is. So like energy, sure, but
screaming at professional athletes that are making more money than you is also like screaming at them in a negative way. Is
you could be on thin ice there. Watch yourself.
That's kind of a dumbass move, really, to be honest.
Again, but going to the media room and say, hey, Jared Davis, you suck this game, you're benched. Okay.
Look how fired up Saleh was when they stopped the Bengals on 4th down on the goal line.
Yeah.
Right. So like, I think in appropriate moments, he has kind of shown that energy that some people.
But there's a big difference to me than good energy than negative energy. Him screaming and throwing his headset's a lot different than him getting pumped up and there was a play where he headbutted a guy with a helmet on. Like that's sweet, okay. But at the same time, if he didn't have that,
that's pretty cool shit right there.
Yeah, but if he didn't have that, I would be like, dude, when the Jets scored a touchdown, I really want Saleh to start going crazy. Like, no, give me fucking wins. I couldn't care about his energy any less. I don't.
But what kept? So I still really have honestly some questions about like, them just adjusting, because like every team week in, week out, they keep fucking trapping the Jets to death because they know that the Jets want to be super aggressive and penetrating, getting their players upfield. And the Jets, to my view, I haven't really made great adjustments to this point yet. So
well, two things this week that kind of plays against that. And again, I agree in a general aspect with you. Jared Davis benched. Awesome.
Yeah. Glad about that. Yes.
GVR benched. Awesome.
Yep.
3, Bryce Hall played I would say at least 15 reps on the right side.
Yes.
They moved them. They fucking moved them. They listened.
For the first time,
last week it was, oh, we don't do that. And then this week it was, you know what? Maybe it's not a good idea to just keep a good corner on one side, because then teams will go away from that corner. And maybe he could play on the other side because he's doing the exact same thing he's doing on the other side, just to the opposite side. It's not about left side or right side. It's about field versus boundary. He's doing all the same stuff on the left that he would do on the right. So let him do it. Like, you can't, like the Seahawks when they were Sherman. If I was the other team, I would just go away from Sherman every single play. Why go to Sherman? It makes no sense. So moving on, Rusty said, take it easy.
Yeah, and I mean, and if you're an offense, you can literally dictate exactly where you want all your personnel to line up. I mean, you could have 3 great receivers and line them up on the exact opposite side of where Sherman's at.
Now, if you have 2 corners who are equally as good, like they did when I had like Brandon Browning, I think, right? When he was good, like I wasn't the same.
Browner.
Okay, yeah, not Browning. Browning was the long linebacker from Ohio State last year, right? Browner. Okay, obviously, Sherman's a lot better than him, but if you have 2 guys who are really good, then yeah, sure. Like Cromartie, Revis, okay, fine, get it. But when you have Hall to the Guidry last game or Eccles, it's a big difference. Hall is a 2 to me. I think he's a good 2. I don't think he's a 1. I've said it forever. I think this year so far he's proved to me he is a 2. But going more into...
I want to ask you one quick question about him.
Okay.
Because you're much better at analyzing corners than me. One thing I think I've seen with him that has thrown up like a question mark in my mind is I feel like he swings his arms out of control too much. right?
And I have to like watch specific plays.
And when
like,
and the reason he's not the fastest dude in the world anyway. So like when you're running, you don't want to run with your arms flailing around. You're not going to run as fast like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's not something I like made note of, like in terms of like, okay, that's like a true weakness. But when you say it, like you do mention, like he's not as like tight on the upper body as he should be. That's and like, and he needs to make more plays too. Like Hall, like he should have had a couple picks this year.
He had a nice pass deflection in this game, late in the game.
He did. Well, are you talking about the one in the red zone?
Yeah.
He was on Gaskin. So like it was good coverage, but
yeah, you should be able to lock up Myles Gaskin.
That
a little
and
short running
he needs to be a little bit more of a playmaker because on that play he has Gaskin completely locked up and he's
undercut it and try to pick it.
Yes, he knew it after because he jumped and he was like kind of pissed because he knew he could have picked that ball because he's blanketing Gaskin. He's watching Tua because he's blanketing him and he can not. It's not easy. It's obviously they're fucking NFL. It's hard. But he, for an NFL player, easily could have undercut that and picked that ball off, and he just stays over top, pass deflection. Where he could have pulled.
And if he picks that off, then it's a one-score game, and it's a completely different game.
Well, unfortunately, JFM got the late hit on that play, so it would have been a pick six and brought back, and I would have shot my TV. Rusty Spooner says, "Take it easy, guys." I guess in terms of the coaching stuff, I was getting mad at people talking about energy. It just is what it is. It comes out because I hate hearing dumb shit and people repeat it over and over again. It makes me go crazy. Winning is the greatest deodorant. Yes, exactly, Yoshi.
Yep.
What I respect about Salah is relevant to his. Let's see. Rex got credit for his energy in 2010, but got beat up for it in 2013. Great point, West Coast. So moving on. Hall had a good game, and I think this season again. I don't know if you agree with this. I think he's shown he's a corner 2, not a corner 1 to me. Now obviously, is your corner 1? It's not. You're not going to lose sleep over it. But he could obviously develop more, but he's not a playmaker and he needs to make more plays. But overall, this game was still.
The thing is,
really
he was a playmaker in college.
Different than being it. Yeah.
Well, it's saying like he has some ball skills to him. Is my point. So like,
yeah,
like some like when the one of your recent reviews, you pointed it out, like one of these past couple games, like, he goes up to get, might have been the Colts game. I think it was the Colts game. 2 hands, the ball goes right through his hands, hits him in the face mask. Like what is that?
Oh, dude, it's like deep down the right sideline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they had a safety over the top on that play too. Like that ball should have been picked by one of those 2 players.
It was a punt.
Wentz threw a duck on that play.
It was a punt, dude, and they both dropped it, or they both gonna make a play on it. Rusty Sooners heading out to work. That sucks. I work midnight, so I get I don't know where you're from, but I know how that is. Yoshi said he wouldn't be on the stream right now if that happened. Kyle, he would be out shopping for a new TV.
He's talking about you.
Friday.
He's about you.
Yeah, but dude, if he picked it off and there was a penalty on that play and it ran for 6, like. The Jets don't make plays like that. Yeah, that'd be bad. At the buzzer, I found your YouTube today about Elijah Moore. I'm a Pats fan and just think your channel is amazing. Hey, that's awesome that a Pats fan saying we're good. That means it's legit. So I appreciate you at the buzzer. So hopefully check out the live streams or at least check out the Pats and Jets games. They've played twice already. You guys waxed us both times. So if you want to get enjoyment, watch me go break down that play and get pissed at my Jets and talk about how good the Pats are. So that sucked. Other than Hall. Nobody else. Whoa. Let me adjust. Carter 2 had an okay game. I thought he had some plays that were iffy, some that were good. I thought he was okay this game. And Isaiah Dunn had probably the worst debut you can ever have as a corner. So his eyes were just not in the right spot. There's multiple plays he was beat. The one was an OPI on the Dolphins, which was a terrible OPI. His eyes were inside, like he was just locked onto the quarterback and seeing if it was an RPO, seeing it was on a run, and just completely like not negating. What's the word I'm looking for? Like ignoring his assignment and just be like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna stand here and watch if this is a pass or run. If it's a pass, if it is a pass, then I'll cover my guy. It's like, what are you doing? Like obviously it's much more complex than that, but like that, his eyes getting distracted and like in terms of like short versus deep concepts, like he was really, really bad this game.
He looked like a rookie that basically had very few reps in the preseason and all that kind of stuff too.
He looked like a UDFA. Yeah, he was this game.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah. like the reason why he was a UDFA wasn't for reasons like that. It wasn't that he was a
No.
dumb player or anything like that. It was
I don't
that
know
he's
why
just
he
a
was
very,
undrafted. I don't know why he was undrafted.
yeah,
to
he
be
should have been
honest.
drafted,
He should have been drafted.
but he's not the most athletic dude in the world, obviously not the biggest dude in the world. So that's part of the reason why, but he still should have been drafted though. Yeah.
The brother says, "Yeah, well, I didn't expect us to be this good, but the defense stepped up this season, dude. It's fucking Bill Belichick. It's just like people thought they'd be so bad this year, and you look at them and they're returning like seven starters. You know, Mac Jones. While he's not going to be Tom Brady, he's been good at executing the plan. Now getting him out of instructions and things like that, like that's never going to be his game. But you have one of the best OCs in the game.
They're doing a very good job developing him. They're doing exactly. I mean, like a strong running game, solid O line, good coaching.
So the buzzer, I give the Pats credit, but I fucking hate them at the same time because this week I bet the Pats Falcons same game parlay. I had like 9 legs of a same game parlay. I had on everything like Mac Jones passing touchdowns, passing yards, this guy touchdown, that guy touchdown. The only thing I did not hit on in that game for like a decent amount of money was the Falcons needed to score 1 touchdown and they got shut out. 1 touchdown. That's all I needed. 1 touchdown. And I lost because the Pats' freaking defense is so good. So
I played the Pats D in both the fantasy leagues that we're in.
Son of a bitch. Yeah. But yeah, appreciate the kind words at the buzzer. So I know I assume you won't be here all the time, but at least for the Pats Jets games, definitely stop by before and after. Other than that, from corners, Dunn was bad. Hull was good, but could make some more plays. He had that really nice force out in the back of the right, back of the end zone on the right side. Well, that was good as well. Other than that, Kyle, Amendola was bad. The coaching, I say, again, you can't burn 2 timeouts in the third quarter. That was terrible.
You can't burn 2 timeouts early in the mid third quarter. Can't miss easy field goals. I mean, like 55. Okay. I understand that. 40 is pretty much automatic in the NFL. You got to hit that shit. You hit that. It's a 1-score game late. Yeah.
There's really nothing else.
Simple little things like, knowing where you're supposed to be in a deep third and a cover 3. I mean, shit, like you can't let guys run wide open. Like it's blown coverages, good teams don't blow coverages that often. And there's a reason why Saleh said that some games, I forgot the exact quote, and I know Andrew tweeted about it and said that, he's right about this. Like, some games are won and some games are lost. And like this game was lost. I'm paraphrasing it. Like, yeah, the Jets blew that game. They blew the game. The Tua, the JFM hit on Tua, like
that, the fumble, like lack of adjusting to a defensive look, you get hit in the back and fumble. Like you can't have that.
At least have a field goal on that possession. Yeah.
Yeah. The intentional grounding that made it a longer field goal. You can't have that. Like there was just so many wasting 2 timeouts in the third quarter. Can't have that. But then you give credit for the benching of GVR, the benching of Davis, the flip, them flipping sides with Hall this game. So there's positives. He showed more energy. That's a massive positive. We all know that's really important. So that was probably the number one thing I noticed in this game. He had more energy on the sideline. Yeah. Anything else from this game you want to hit on? I don't really.
No, but let's answer Andrew's question about what we expect from Zach in this upcoming.
So I'm transitioning into that. But no way. Yeah, I'll be watching your videos. I hate to say it, but you guys are making me want to watch the Jets more. Hey, dude, I don't know what you're at, what you're kind of like with football, but this is we do the live streams once a week, and I do the film breakdowns that are like 2-3 hours. So if you want to actually like watch it, and you might be a freaking coach, I have no idea. You just like us talking shit, and that's why you like it. But if you're not too football savvy, you want to watch, or if you are football savvy, you want to watch them, that's good too, because those are out there. And there are episodes where me and Kyle fight, or I get drunk and.
Oh, here's another thing I want to bring up too. So JFN's been a little quiet lately. I wonder if it's maybe he's just playing out of his better position.
Of course,
you're a lot more this year.
So you literally, because I'm talking about us arguing, you're not going to do that.
No, but I've been thinking about it, and I've been thinking about it the past couple of weeks.
Okay,
and I do think that that's part of it. Like people say, JFM's been quiet. JFM's been quiet, and Kyle, I mean, like maybe he's been a little quiet. Yeah.
Did I say in that argument that JFM is a better 5 tech than a 3 tech? Is that what I said?
No, you didn't. You didn't.
Okay, so we can just stop right there, right?
Yeah, we can stop there. We can stop there. But my see, and this is again, this is why people get into arguments oftentimes because they're not totally understanding
Agreeing on the
what each
terms
other's
of the
saying.
argument. Yeah,
Exactly.
I get it.
But what
The
I was
argument-
that my point is like, I think you're really kind of overrating just how good he is as a 5-tech.
Well, he played pretty well as a 5-tech the entire year before he got paid, and this game was good for him as a 5-tech. But he got paid this year in part because of how well he was playing as a 5-tech. And the argument wasn't JFM is a better 3-tech than a 5-tech because now just be an idiot and an asshole. The argument was, is JFM's drop off from 3-tech to 5-tech worth the difference of Sheldon Rankins versus Vinny Curry being in the game? That's what the argument was. So you can try to bend it.
I almost still want to argue.
You're playing villain. You're playing villain. That's all you're doing.
I'm serious though.
You are.
There's moments of brilliance from Sheldon Rankins where he just looks really impressive, and then there are other times, man, especially in the run game, where he gets washed out of gaps. Man,
he gets washed. He's been disappointing overall this season. For me, from what I expect, he's been disappointing.
And that's one player who you had ranked a lot higher than I did when we did our top 25.
Yeah, we're gonna revisit that stuff. By the way, we're gonna revisit. We'll revisit. Maybe we revisit the top 25 again, and then we revisit some of the stat predictions.
Oh, by the way, another player that you had a lot higher in your top 25 than me was Jared Davis.
Yeah, I did. You also had Mims catching 11 touchdowns. So, continuing. I'm going to college.
Okay, Mr. Mims could be AJ Green.
Okay, and Marcus Coleman, who played 11 years in the NFL, agreed with me on that. So.
I know.
Marcus
I gotta talk with Marcus and you one time.
Marcus is coming on for a live stream after the season, so if you want to jump on that.
I wouldn't want to mess up your two chemistry with his.
Yeah, like me and him, like the football, like we'd be talking about football like here, and then you just keep dragging us down, so you might drag down.
Very funny. Very funny.
Buzzer's he's going to college for sports analyst. So I kind of want to do this as a job. I'm an Ole Miss fan. Okay, at the buzzer, this is what I recommend. Just one time, and you can decide after that. Type in Blewett Blitz on YouTube. Type in Elijah Moore. I did like a 2-hour review on him. If you're trying to learn about football and all that stuff, and you're an Ole Miss fan, go watch the Elijah Moore review. Please,
very fun, dude.
Do
if you're
that
an
and email me.
Fan, it's very fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
How much of the Moore game is for free on YouTube?
I have no idea.
The Moore review.
Elijah Moore. Blewett.
So at the buzzer, while he's looking that up,
let's see.
So Joe has what?
33 minutes.
33 minutes. Oh, that's still a good portion.
Out of like 2-3 hour review.
Yeah. So if you wanted the full thing, you could subscribe to the website and get a month for free and just watch the full thing on the website.
Yeah.
For free. Yeah.
And then decide if you want to. I'm sure he's not going to subscribe, but dude, I wouldn't care.
But yeah, I mean, he's Elijah Moore fan. He could,
that'd be sweet. Yeah, dude. At the buzzer, definitely do that and then email me or email me or come to the next live stream. Let me know what you think. Cause I definitely want you to do that. Cause if you're trying to learn, you're trying to get into this, like, people DM me or maybe even Kyle sometimes too. What should I do for this? Or what's that? Or what book should I read or this or that? And I'll send you stuff. So, let me know. I'll definitely help you out in any way I can. I appreciate it. Even though you're a Pats fan, you son of a bitch.
Must be nice.
Yeah. So Joe, the Nets signed Mark Kenya. I'm not a big baseball fan. I'm like a fair weather fan. So I might know who that is, but I'm not top of my head. Awesome buzzer. So moving on. Hopefully it's a big signing because nobody wants to play for the Mets. No GM wants to play. No player. But
didn't the Mets get a new owner? Didn't the Mets get a new owner? And
Cohen, yeah, last year.
So why did I don't know shit about baseball. So
I'm a fair weather fan.
Why do players still not want to play for the Mets?
Well, just quick, baseball is definitely my fourth sport. I like hockey and basketball more than baseball. It's not players. It's just like it's like I'll listen to like podcasts for the Mets because I'm not like up on it, but I drive around a lot for my job and I listen to a lot like podcasts for like other teams and stuff like that. Cause I'm like Jets, like it is what it is. I don't want to be like that, but I get what I get out of what I watch. So I don't really listen to a ton of Jet stuff, but like Mets, Devils, I'll listen to podcasts. Other ones like Bill Burr, I'll listen to that. And then with the Mets, people are saying like every
Bill Burr,
GM,
isn't he a comedian?
He has a podcast, dude. His podcast is phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
And
he basically rants about whatever
I know
he
he's into
wants to.
sports, but
he rants about like he'll rant about like one will be like about sports, one will be about women, one will be about firefighters. One will be about parking. One will be about how bankers suck. Like it's just ranting for 2 hours. It's great. So I like Bill Burr, but like nonetheless, all the Mets people were basically, I don't want to touch on the Mets thing, but it's like every GM that was rumored to the Mets, it would be like that GM, like the next day, like coming out and be like, yeah, no interest in the Mets. So it'd be like the Jets trying to hire like Saleh, then Gase, then McCarthy, then who Stanley, like all of them like, yeah, nope. So if they can get players who are good, great. That's great. Bill Burr is the best. Yeah, I'm a big Bill Burr fan. Some of the stuff a little bit iffy on, but overall he's awesome. What were we talking about? We have to go into the Texans game a little bit, and then I gotta go get some grub at me. So
Zach Wilson prospects for this upcoming game.
Pete, you are late as hell. I feel like Pete's always late. This game, like what I think he's gonna do, or what will he do? I know from like seeing on Twitter, like the Texans are apparently more of like a soft Tampa 2 team. So this game would be a very good judge.
Who's their D coordinator? Is it the former linebacker who played for them?
Oh, you're right. DeMeco Ryans, is that it?
Is it? I know DeMeco Ryans is a coordinator somewhere. I'm just not sure if it's with the Texans. And he obviously played with the Texans.
I think it's either there or like the Cowboys he's DC for.
It might be the Cowboys, maybe.
Is it DeMeco Ryans? Yeah, I'm not sure. If it's not DeMeco Ryans, I have no idea. But it might be DeMeco Ryans.
Anyway,
I know they play like a lot of like soft Tampa 2, or I've heard they play a lot of soft Tampa 2. Then again, I've heard plenty of wrong things about teams. You know, Jets only play cover 3. You know, like it's not true. It's Lovie Smith.
So if they're playing a lot of Tampa 2, who the fuck is their linebacker who's playing the Tampa 2 role? Because like that's one of the reasons why like
Zach Cunningham.
But
it's Lovie Smith. DeMeco's in San Fran. Thank you.
Lovie Smith's back in the league. I didn't even know that, dude.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if it's Lovie, that makes sense that they play a lot of Tampa 2. But so Zach Cunningham, but is Zach really like a dude who you want running the Tampa?
Dude,
I feel like he's more of a guy you want running downhill.
Their linebackers, like some of them are okay, but they have okay. So this is based on their depth chart. They have Zach Cunningham, Kevin Pierre-Louis, Eric Wilson, and Neville Hewitt. It says Neville Hewitt's our starting middle linebacker. So Neville Hewitt, I could be wrong. Again, I don't watch the Texans a lot, but yeah. So okay. So again, this is a good barometer.
What about who's the corners?
You son of a bitch. It is Desmond King, Terrence Mitchell, Lonnie Johnson Jr. And I like Justin Reed as a safety. I like him. And I know Jonathan Grenard has been having a really good season for them, but I think he's injured and going to be out for this game. So their best player on defense is out. Minus, I like Justin Reed from when I've seen him.
Wait, which player's out? Say that again.
Their safety, Justin Reed.
No, which player's out? Oh,
Jonathan Grenard.
I don't even know who the hell that is.
Yeah, so Neville Hewitt is their Mike. So it's me, Neville Hewitt, running that Tampa. So,
and what about on the D line? I mean, obviously there's no Watt anymore.
Want to try to go through the whole roster at this point, or?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Their D line, it's gonna be a combination of Derek Rivers, Jacob Martin, and Jordan Jenkins as their ends. with Malik.
I mean,
Collins
listen.
Apparently,
they really slowed down the formidable Titans offense.
Listen, man,
of course, no with Derrick Henry.
Jordan Jenkins isn't me playing. That's what Yoshi says. So see, I had okay.
There would be no reason to be scared anyway, even if he was.
I want a lot of competitive games. Like I'm cool with competitiveness. If the Jets lose this game, I will be pissed. It's the Texans. Like come on. And the last time the Jets played Tyrod was the beginning of the Browns game, right? Where they were stomping on him, and then Baker Mayfield, of course, came back.
Oh
in
yeah,
that game and won.
Tyrod looked so bad.
He looked awful.
Yeah.
He looked awful. But
he had like 2 rushing touchdowns this game. Yeah, Tyrod, man, like he's like a see it to throw at quarterback, man.
So his mobility could hurt you.
Yeah, I mean, like he had 2 rushing touchdowns. He had like 1 really nice hurdling touchdown this past week, but
yeah, Grenard was Zuniga's teammate at Florida, and a lot of people wanted Grenard over Zuniga, but Grenard or Greener or whatever fell below Zuniga. I'm like 99% sure. People are like, what the hell? Like Grenard was a higher rated player, like the better player, but whatever. The Jets getting burned by Florida edges. So getting back to my original point, Kyle, talking about Tampa 2 and then getting to their linebackers, getting to their defensive line, getting into their safeties, getting to their corners. Should I talk about the offensive line? This is a good barometer, this game, because they play soft Tampa 2 if Zach Wilson learned a lot on the bench. because this game should be a check down game, and taking what's open underneath. That's what I was going to say. So that the barometer is how much did he learn from White and Flacco taking the checkdowns, because this is a good test for them. That, and also the Texans suck on defense and offense. So if you can't take advantage of them deep, short, intermediate, whatever it may be, not great. But I expect a better Zach Wilson. I think that Pats game.
I still do want him to take shots if they're there.
Of course. That's
if
why
I see him taking like he passes up on something that's clearly a shot that he should take.
Well, no, that's bad.
Yeah,
that's bad.
Because then you don't want to like overly emphasize play boring football to the point where you're just turning him into Alex Smith. That's also not good for the kid's development either.
That's why we always say, and it's been like, we can go through examples. It's almost been proven, or a different time, but like you want that quarterback coming into the NFL who is overly aggressive versus overly conservative. You can take the aggressiveness out. You cannot teach aggressiveness. And Zach Wilson was drafted for that aggressiveness, for those Titans throws, him rolling out, throwing 65 yards on a rope. Like that's what you drafted him for. 60, well, maybe it was about 60 yards from where he threw it, air yards, not line of scrimmage yards. So, yeah, you don't want to, if he's hesitant to throw the ball deep, concerning, but I want to see him take the underneath stuff. And again, they should be able to beat him. It's the Texans aren't overly talented, and I expect him to be better. So in the Pats game, the last game before he got injured, he was processing a little bit quicker to me. Now he still did have that really bad throw. It was like a post deep where he just chucked it where he got injured.
You got the safety over top, and it's pretty tight coverage. Yeah.
Terrible throw. But before that,
terrible decision too. Yeah.
Yeah. I meant throw in terms of both the actual throw and the decision combined.
Just got lucky by him dropping it and the DPI.
His footwork was better, so that's a positive. I thought he was a little bit quicker processing underneath, which is a positive. And now hopefully this game he's like, listen, I could take those deep shots, but you need to hit on like 2, 3, 4 of those a game, and you're a great quarterback, but you have to hit the intermediate. You have to have good footwork. You have to have good processing. You can't try to force balls. You have to take the check down. Like he has to do all that stuff, because if he could play, if you can combine well, this is not a good example because of how bad Mike White was the next game, but like if you take it to Mike White versus the Bengals and combine him with Zach Wilson, like play like Mike White until there's that deep shot, great. Like that's what you want,
Yeah, pretty much.
So I think he's going to do better now in terms of like statistical stuff. Like I want to see him stay pretty clean, but
I would like to see he's had a turnover in every game, I think. So I think.
What's your stat prediction right now? If it was a bet between me and you, the closest one wins. What's your stat prediction for Zach Wilson? We can kind of tie that into what would be bad, what would be good, but like, what do you think he's going to do?
I mean, I think this defense is just so bad, and this offense is finally hitting their stride. He's got Davis. More is more. The offensive line should be better now with LDT in there, if that's what his name is.
It's LDT. Louvernay Durdif Tardif. Just I call him Tardif or LDT. I don't know. I forget.
I'll say 320 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks.
320. All right, that's his highest output of the year, right?
Yeah, he had 297 against the Titans.
297, and then wasn't the Panthers 299? Or like 296 or something like that. It was really close.
I know he didn't have 300 yet. I know that.
Maybe
270 something with the Panthers.
I thought it was really close. Maybe. Yeah, you might be right. Yeah.
I mean, remember they didn't do shit the first half of that Panthers game.
I'm wrong on the Panthers. The Titans game I think it was like 297 or 299.
It was definitely 297 for the Titans. I remember that because I really wanted him to get a 300-yard game because like we just haven't had so many of those as Jets fans. Like Sanchez had like 4, and I think Darnold had 4.
If that, I
think they both had 4, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Which that's embarrassing.
LaFleur said he was noticeably better in practice these 2 days than he was before the injury. I don't really. Again, the Jets
supposedly, him overthinking stuff. His mechanics are breaking down, and that's part of the reason why they hired John Beck. Supposedly.
Yeah, the Jets get blown out, and their practice week was great. So I don't really put a lot into that. So you said 2 touchdowns, 0 picks, like 300 and something yards. They don't have Michael Carter, so I don't know. Two touchdowns, 288 yards. A little bit under 300, just enough to piss us off, but still a good game. But yeah, now if he comes out and is throwing picks versus the Texans, and his footwork is back to shit, and he's panicking, like I'm not concerned. Like, okay, get rid of the guy, but you'd like to see him take a step up and beat up on the Texans, who aren't a good team. So with it being said, other than that, Kyle, we only talked about Zach Wilson, which is fine, unless you really want to get into the game. What's your overall feel for it, I guess, really quickly, and then a score prediction, because 1, I got to eat, and 2, I got to piss, and it's kind of hard to take a piss right at the end of the show. So.
Yeah, I have to eat too. I think the Jets will win this game.
Score.
The Texans are a bad team. I think the Jets will win by a touchdown. Score, I'll say 27-20 Jets. I mean, and dude, if I know the Texans are a bad team, man. Like if they can hold the Texans to 20, like that's almost like, okay, that's a positive sign, because they've been allowing so many points lately.
Yeah, so we're usually like on par with some stuff, or really close to being par. This one, that I recorded the shows in the past, so it doesn't matter what I say right now, because you cannot believe me, you couldn't believe me, but when you go watch the actual show, because I recorded it before this, we had the same exact prediction: 27-20 Jets.
Wow. How about that?
That's hilarious. So, yeah, the defensive line for them is not good. The offensive line's been playing better for the Jets. The Jets defensive line played good last game versus a bad Miami team. This team versus a quarterback who's not a good quarterback. You think they should get some sacks this game. They should win this game. I don't. For me, against the Texans, throw the compete sheet out the window. They got to win this game. That's how I feel, and I think they will. I know the Jets are plus 2.5 right now, which basically makes it a pick 'em with the Texans being home. But this is one of those games. Like, you win this game, hopefully we can win against the Saints or the Eagles. One of those games. Maybe you take the Dolphins game and you finish with like a respectable 5 wins. Like, I'm not asking for a lot, but you can't lose this game and then go 2-15 or 3-14 like that. Give me something. And this is the stretch of the schedule where you're playing some teams who are not so good in a row. The Texans, the Eagles, and the Saints. Like, while the Texans and Saints are better than the Jets, like, they should not be out of any of these games. And this is one of those games I expect them to win. So anything else, Kyle?
While you're saying that, I was just thinking, like, what if the Jets blew them out 38-0? Like, remember when we beat?
When is the last blowout we've had?
Last blowout? I don't know, but I remember 38-0. Rex's first year, we blew out the Raiders in Oakland 38-0.
The last one I can think of that was like a blowout was the
we did
Raiders.
blow out. We blew out the McDermott Bills when we had McCown on that Thursday night game.
Yeah. I think the last game the Jets really blew out a team was the Raiders, right? Not the Raiders game where they obviously led up a touchdown, but the year before that, the Raiders, the first year of games.
Yes. 34-3. Yep.
Le'Veon Bell had the catch in the wheel route. It was a good game for the Jets, but other than that, that game, the Lions game on Monday Night Football,
he had a catch in a wheel route in that game. I remember he caught a seam route against the Redskins that year.
Wasn't it the first play of the game? Like, one of the first plays of the game, he caught a wheel on along the right side.
You're right.
By the numbers.
Yep, you're right.
Yeah. I think it was that Raiders game where they blew them out.
Yeah, and there was the Carr had a bad fumble, and what's his face? Poole had a pick six. Yeah.
Yes, correct. Other than that, just quickly to hit on some housekeeping before we close it out. Next week, the stream is not Thursday; it is Tuesday. Wednesday is my rehearsal dinner. Thursday is my wedding. I cannot obviously be here during my wedding night, so it's Tuesday at 6 p.m. next week. I'm not doing a review for the next game because I don't have enough time. Again, wedding week. And then the Eagles game, you're going to see nothing from me. I'm not going to be here for I'm not going to be in the country for 10 days or whatever it is. So the Eagles game, there'll be no live stream. There'll be no review of that this upcoming week. No review, but a live stream on Tuesday. Kyle, any last words for the viewers?
No, just hope the Jets stay healthy is the biggest thing I can ask for.
Yep.
Especially protect the young kid at all costs.
Appreciate everybody. What's his name? I'm expecting a follow-up from you. What's his?
By the way,
the buzzer. I'm expecting
the Eagles fan said he DM'd me. I don't see a DM. So
okay, well, Eagles fan DM Kyle so you can jump on your show. And I appreciate everybody, and we will see you next Tuesday.
All right, peace.